And uh, okay, good. We got that going. And we're just about to go on. And I have a song lined up in glorification of the descent of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. I read in one place where Srila Prabhupada that this song, Hari Hari Bipale Janama, by Thakur, or there's a lot. There's like a echo that's coming back to me, and it's not coming from me. Anyway, this is by Narottam Das Thakur, and Srila Prabhupada stated that this was his favorite bhajan in one place. So I'll share the screen on this. I'll start up, and I'll have to sing it myself because otherwise, everyone needs to mute themselves if they want to sing along because otherwise, I'll four other disjointed voices coming in at different times. Hari Hari Vipale Janama Joinu Hari Hari Vipale Janama Goinu Manusha Janama Hoya Radha Krishna Navajiya Manushya Jana Mapaya Radha Krishna Navajiya Janiya Shuniya Bishakainu Janiya Shuniya Bishakanu Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtanam Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtanam Ratina Janmilokene Tai Ratina Janmilokene Tai Sangsara Bishanale Dibanishi Iyajwale Sangsara Shanale Dibanishi Jwale Juraite na koinu poi Juraite na koinu poi Brajendra Nandana ye Sachisuta hoilo se Brajendra Nandana ye Sachisuta hoilo se Balarama hoilo nita Balarama hoilo nita Hina hina jata chilo Hariname udarilo Hina hina jata chilo Hariname udarilo Tara shakshi jaga mahatai Tara shakshi jaga mahatai Aha Prabhu Nanda Sutata Vrishabhanu Sutta Juta Aha Prabhu Nanda Sutta Vrishabhanu Sutta Juta Karuna Koro Hue Baro Karuna Koro Hue Baro Naruttamo Dasakoi Nateli Horanga Pai Tarutta Dasakoi Natali Horanga Pai Toma Bineke Achea Mara Toma Bineke Achea Mara Hari Hari Bipale Janama Gonoi Nu Hari Hari Bipale Janama Gonoi Nu. So starting with Daneshwar Prabhu and then Dvija Garanga Sikarani Via, could you please each read each one translation for each verse?
Translation. O Lord Hari, I have spent my life uselessly, having obtained a human birth and having not worshipped Radha and Krishna, I have knowingly drunk poison.
The treasure of divine love in Goloka Vrindavan has descended as the congregational chanting of Lord Hari's holy names. Why did my attraction for that chanting never come about? Day and night my heart burns from the fire of the poison of worldliness, and I have not taken shelter, and I have not taken the means to relieve it.
Then
Lord
Sikar,
Krishna.
thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Sikarani's next, then Via, then
Okay.
Pradyumna if he's able to read. I don't know if he's busy with his family. Go ahead, Sikarani, please. Sikarani?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah. The treasure of divine love.
That was already read already by Vijagaranga.
Okay. Lord Krishna, who is the son of the king of Raja, became the son of Sachi, Lord Chaitanya, and Balarama became Nitai. The holy name delivered all those souls who were lowly and wretched. The two sinners, Jigai and Madhai, are evidence of this.
Thank you.
Oh Lord
Via?
Krishna. O Lord Krishna, son of Nanda, accompanied by the daughter of Vrishabhanu, please be merciful to me now. Narottamanta says, O Lord, please do not push me away from your reddish lotus feet, for who is my beloved except for you?
Thank you. Bhavatarini, are you able to continue reading the purport for this? Bhavatarini, you're muted.
Sorry, okay. Hari Hari Bifale Janmana Goyanu. This is a song sung by Narottam Das Thakur, very stalwart acharya in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sampradaya, disciplic succession. He has sung many songs, important songs, and his songs are accepted as Vedic conclusions, parentheses break, very authoritative songs. So he says, praying to Lord Krishna, my dear Lord Hari, Hari, I have simply spoiled my life. Hari, Hari, Bifale Janmana Goyanu. Why you have spoiled your life? He says, Manushya Janmana Paya. I got this human form of life. Radha Krishna na Bhajiya. But I did not care to worship Radha Krishna, therefore I have spoiled my life. And how it is exactly like one takes poison knowingly. If someone takes poison unknowingly, there is excuse. But if somebody takes poison knowingly, it is suicidal. So he says, I have committed suicide simply by not worshiping Radha and Krishna in this human form of life.
Pradyumna Prabhu, are you able to read?
No, sorry, I'm just hearing you guys. Thank you.
That's fine. Then he says, Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtan. I don't know why I keep hearing this echo, this really distorted echo. I don't have any other item. Let's see. Do I have a phone on here? But okay. This Krishna consciousness movement, Sankirtan movement, is nothing material. It is directly imported from the spiritual kingdom known as Goloka Vrindavan. So Golokera Premadana, and it is not ordinary song. It is treasure of love of God. What is that? But I have no attraction for this. Rati Nilotai. I have no attraction for it. On the contrary, Vishanale Diba nishi hiya jwale, and because I did not accept it, therefore the blazing fire of the poison of material existence constantly burning me. Diba nishi hiya jwale, day and night my heart is burning on account of this poisonous effect of material existence. And tori bare na koi no pai, but I did not seek any remedy for this. In other words, the remedy for this blazing fire of material existence is this Sankirtan movement. It is imported from the spiritual kingdom. And who has imported it? Who has brought it? Danishwar Prabhu.
Rajendra
Hello?
Nandana Rai, Sachi Sutta Holy say, Rajendra Nandana, the son of King of Braj, that is Krishna. Krishna is known as the son of Nanda Maharaj. He was the king of Brajabhumi. So Brajendra Nandana Jai, the same personality who was formerly the son of Nanda Maharaj, has now appeared as the son of Mother Sachi. Sachi Sutta Hoilo Se, and Balaram Hoilo Nitai, and Lord Balaram has become Nityananda. So these two brothers, adventing, they are delivering all kinds of fallen souls. Apatapi Jata Chilo. As many fallen souls there were within this world, they're delivering them simply by this chanting process. Harinama Darilo, simply by this chanting. How is it possible? Then he says, Tarashakshi Jagay and Madai. The living example is the two brothers, Jagai and Madai. These Jagai and Madai, two brothers, they happen to be born in a Brahmana family, but they turn to be debauch number one. And of course, nowadays, in this age, their qualification is not considered debauch. Their debauchery was because they were so drunkard and woman hunter. Therefore, they were called debauch and meat eater also. So, but they later became delivered. But they became later on delivered by Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda and great devotees.
Baba Trini, you're next. Is Nirhari around or no?
Yes, he's putting on T-lock, but I could read, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead,
Okay.
please.
So,
Please.
so Narottam Das, is that where I'm starting?
Yes.
So Narottam Das Thakur's exclamation says that in this age, although people are drunkard and woman hunter, meat eater, and all, gambler, all kinds of sinful actor, still, if they take to this Krishna consciousness movement and chant Hare Krishna, they'll be delivered undoubtedly. This is the blessings of Lord Chaitanya. Then Narottam Das Thakur prays, Ha ha Prabhu Nanda Sutta Vrishabhanu Sutta Juta. My dear Lord Krishna, you are the son of King Nanda, and your consort Radharani is the daughter of King Vrishabhanu. So you are together here standing. Narottam Das, Kahe na tililo rage pe. Now I am surrendering unto you. Please do not kick me away or push me away with your lotus feet, because I have no other shelter. I am just taking shelter unto your lotus feet without having any other means. So please accept me and deliver me. This is the sum and substance of this song.
Jai. So I guess I have to stop the share and restart again. Here's Srila Prabhupada. I have two things prepared for this evening. Here's Srila Prabhupada speaking on Nityananda Prabhu's Avirbhav Appearance Day lecture, which was done in Bhubaneswar in 1977. And then I have a wonderful collection of pastimes told by Srila Prabhupada's dear godbrother, Srila Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, where he glorifies Lord Nityananda, which I've never read before, but it looks wonderful. So why don't we each read couple of paragraphs, since there's quite a bit to cover. Dvija Gauranga Prabhu, do you want to start? Prabhupada, so today.
Prabhupada. So today, the appearance day of Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu is Balaram. Baladev Tattva, Rajendra Nandanaye, Sachi Sutta Hailase, Balaram Hailanitai, who was formerly the son of Nanda Maharaj. He has appeared as the son of Sachi Devi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mother's name was Sachi Devi. So Krishna is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Balaram is Nityananda Prabhu. Now, Brajendra Nandanaye, Sachi Sutta Hailase, Balaram Hailanitai. So Balaram, in the Vedic literature, it is said, Nayana Matma Bala Hinena Labhya Na Bahuna Shrutena. So Bala means strength. Sometimes rascal philosophers, they take it that Bala means bodily strength. They propagate this philosophy that unless you are bodily stout and strong, you cannot achieve spiritual salvation. You must be very strong and stout and eat meat and fight, and then you'll get next spiritual birth. No, this Bala, this strength is different. This is spiritual strength.
Was anyone hearing a little bit of distortion while
Yes.
Dvij? What is coming?
Yes.
It's interference. It sounds like a radio or somebody talking.
It's more than one person. It was also affecting you, Gaura. So it's likely two devices. Somebody's maybe, I don't know.
Mine's off.
I mean, it could be anybody on the song.
Off. Via's is off. Sikarani's is off.
But if anybody on the song at all has two devices on with the mic open, that could do it. I don't know if there's another reason.
I don't know. I don't know if Dineshwar Prabhu does, but he's muted
You would
right
see
now.
them show up twice in the list of people. So everybody only has one device.
Okay, I'm just trying to be a private eye and figure out where's.
When Baba Tarini was unmuted, I could hear some crackling. Otherwise, it's all fine for me.
If you mute one by one as we go, just try it when someone's reading. Make sure one person's mute, and then if it doesn't happen when one particular person is muted, then maybe it's that inadvertently coming from them.
Hari, you haven't read Prabhu, and then after you, we're back to Via and Sikarani. The difficulty of the present situation.
The difficulty of the present situation is that actually we are moving on account of spiritual strength, but they have no information of the spiritual strength. They are thinking of material strength. That is expressed here at Ahankare Matta Hoya Nita Pada Pasarya Asatyere Satyakori Mani. This is due to Ahankar. Ahankara Vimudhatma Kartaham iti manyate. You're moving, so it's pretty hard to read. Yeah, no, those are vimudha, especially rascal. Mudha means rascal, and vi means vishesha, visheshanam, particularly. Ahankara vimudhatma. The same thing which is spoken in the Bhagavad Gita. Narottam Das Thakur says the same thing in the plain Bengali language. Ahankare matta haye nitai pada. By the spell of Maya, Ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. Bhagavad Gita 3:27. They are thinking that we are independent. We can do whatever we like. Ahankara vimudhatma. And their false pretext, false prestige, everyone is thinking that, quote, we are independent. We can find out solution of the problems of life by material adjustment, unquote, so on and so on. So that is our material disease. Ahankara vimudhatma. Bewildered, they do not understand that the real strength is spiritual strength. We see daily that a very strong man, very powerful man, very good brain, very good scientist. So where is the strength? The strength is Atma. As soon as the Atma or the soul goes out of the body, this body, so intelligent, so strong, and so many things, but he's nothing. That is the difference between dead man and the living man. A living man is very powerful, very good position, everything. As soon as he lies down, he's lying down on the floor, and if you kick him on his face, he'll not protest. So where is that strength? The strength is gone. That is spiritual strength. On the spiritual strength, the body moves. Suppose you have got a very good car, Mercedes car, or Rolls Royce car. But when there is no petrol, how the car will move? It is not possible. There is spirit, petrol spirit. Similarly, real strength is spiritual strength. That spiritual strength is Balaram. Bala means strength. Therefore, we have to take shelter of the lotus feet of Balaram, Guru Tattva.
Thank you, Prabhu. Rasangi, thank you for coming. I'm assuming you're on your walk, but please let us know when you're available to read, okay?
I'm
And then,
actually taking prasadam from the temple. I
oh,
went to the temple for Nityananda's appearance day today, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, and I just finished work. I'm taking prasadam.
wow, so take some for me too, okay?
Yum, yum.
Shikarani, it's your turn, and then Via, and then back to me. Two paragraphs each. Well, it's a long paragraph. You can just read one if you want.
Gaura, your
Sigarani?
volume is
Yeah, sure.
over the top.
Hello?
Sure.
My volume is what?
Balarama. Hello. What's happening?
It's pretty loud for us.
How's this
Your
if I
volume,
speak
Gaura.
if I speak at this volume? Is that okay?
Okay. Balrama means Guru Tattva. Balarama represents Guru. Yashya Prasadad Bhagvat Prasada. If we want to understand the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if we want to understand Krishna, then we must take shelter of Balarama. Nayam Atma Balhinena Labhya. This Balahinena Labhya, this Vedic injunction means without the mercy of Balram, you can't understand, you can't realize your spiritual identification. So that Balaram comes as Nityananda Prabhu, equals to Balarama Haila Nitai. Therefore, we must take shelter of Balram. That is, this song has been sung by Narottam Das Thakur. Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Sushitala. If we take shelter of Nityananda Prabhu, then we get peace. Koti Chandra Sushitala. Just like in daytime, especially in the summer season, we become very much exhausted. But at night, in the evening, as soon as there is moonshine, we become very much satisfied. All day's labor and fatigue is immediately moved. So Nitai Pade Kamala, the shade of Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet, is Koti Chandra Sushitala, as pleasing as 1 crore of moonshine. One moonshine gives us so much pleasure. So if we want actually peace of mind, if we actually want to be free from this material fatiguement, then we must take the shelter of Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu is the strength, spiritual strength, and without spiritual strength, you can't approach Krishna. Nayam Atma Pravachana. Simply by talking nonsense, Nayam Atma Pravachane na labhya. If you are a good speaker, that doesn't mean you will understand yourself. Na medhaya, neither by good brain. Because you have got very good brain, you will understand Krishna. No, Nayam Atma Pravachanena labhyo na medhaya na bahuna shrutena. If you think that you are a very good scholar, university degree holder, then you will understand, no, this is not possible.
Via, just go ahead and read a few verses.
So we must. Oh, so do I start it? So we must.
Yes.
Okay. So we must have spiritual strength. That source of spiritual strength is Balaram, Krishna's next manifestation. Prakasha Vigraha. Krishna is manifested himself through Balaram. So we have to take shelter of Nityananda Prabhu. Nitai Pada Kamala, Koti Chandra Shushitala, Jay Chaya Jagata Jurai. The whole world is suffering, but if you want peace, then you take the shelter of Nityananda Prabhu. Heno Nitai Dhine Bhai, Radha Krishna Pete Nai, Ridha Kori Dharho Niter Bhai. Our real aim of our real aim of life, how to go back home, back to Godhead, and associate with Radha Krishna. In another song, the same author says, Manusha Janama Paya, Radha Krishna na Bhajya, Janya Shunya Bisha Kainu. Unless you come to Radha Krishna. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Unless you come to Radha Krishna, you cannot get real pleasure. If you want to dance and get pleasure, don't dance independently. Dance with Krishna. Then you'll be happy. The dancing is there, but dancing without association of Krishna. Just like here in our temple, we are also eating, but we are eating the remnants of food stuff left by Krishna. That is real pleasure. It is not that we are stopping eating. We are not stopping eating. We are not dry philosophers. Krishna bharo dhoyamoy, gori bhare jiwa jai, swaprashadanan hino bhai. All over the world, we are eating Krishna prasadam, and we have gotten good experience. At least 10,000 men and women, they are taking Krishna prasadam, but we have no anxiety. We have no anxiety. A family consists of a few members. They are full of anxiety, how to maintain the family. And we are maintaining a family of 10,000 men. We have no anxiety. Just see practically, we have no anxiety. We require thousands and thousands of rupees for maintaining Europe, America, a costly affair. But because we are under the shelter of Nityananda Prabhu, Balaram, we have no anxiety. That means material life without anxiety. That means material life. That means material life means anxiety. You cannot avoid anxiety if you lead a material life. Then you will be anxious.
That is Prahlad Maharaj's instruction. He was asked by his father, "My dear son, what you have learned the best thing from your teachers?" So he replied, "My dear father." He never said, "My dear father." He said, "My dear best of the Asuras, Asurya Varya. Tatsadu manye Suravarya dehinam. Tatsadu manye Suryavarya dehinam. Sada samudvigna diyam asadgrahat." Bhagavatam 755. The whole human society is suffering, at least suffering from one disease, anxiety. Ask anybody. Take a small ant and take the big elephant. Take the President of the United States or take one street beggar. Ask him whether you are free from anxiety. No, nobody will say, "No, I am full of anxiety." That's a fact. So why they are in anxiety, full of anxiety? That Prahlad Maharaj has replied, Sada samudvignam diyam asadgrahat, because we have taken asad vastu, that will not exist. Everything, whatever you have got, this body will not exist. And this is the main platform of our existence. In the material world, so long the body is there, you exist. So Prahlad Maharaj said that, quote, "Real solution of problems of life is to get out of this material condition." That is the best thing in my opinion. Sada samad vigna diyam asad. That is Vedic injunction. Also, asatoma sadgamaya. Don't live in this asat, in this material condition. Sadgamaya. Go to real existence. That real existence means spiritual life. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 20. So if we actually want life, blissful life, then we must get out of this material existence. That is Prahlad Maharaj's instruction. Samudvigna diyam. And if you remain in the material existence, you must suffer some anxiety. There is no excuse. Tanishwar Prabhu.
Tam griha andakupam anam gata atoya darim ashri ashrayata. I thought I'd try to sing like you. No problem with anxiety. This anxiety will continue so long as you are material existent. Therefore, the real life is to get out of this material. Atmagatam. Atmagatam means killing the soul. This material civilization is killing the soul. That they have no information of the soul. They do not know how to become peaceful, how to become blissful. They're trying to be peaceful. Ahira artamanina, by material, by external material energy. They're thinking by constructing big, big buildings, just like in Bhubaneswar they are doing, and having good, very big, big roads and motor cars, that this is this advancement of civilization. No, that is not advancement. That is increasing their anxiety. There is no solution of the anxiety. Formerly, that I was speaking, there was no university. The university was in a cottage. Vyasadeva was writing Srimad Bhagavatam and all the Puranas in a cottage. So university was there. Who can produce such literature as Vyasa is given? From any angle of vision, from literary point of view, from philosophical point of view, everything so perfect. Every literature, Mahabharata, Puranas, Vedanta, Veda Vyas, he has given. So there was no need of a university. It required clear brain. That was to be done by the Brahminical qualification. Samo Dhamma Tatikshar Arjava. Jnanam Vijnanam Ashtikyam Brahma Karma Svabhava. Where is that education? This education, technical education, how you can very nicely hammer, this will not solve the problem. So if you want real education of the problems, then our first duty is first of all to take shelter of Nitai Parakamala. Then we will be happy and we'll get moonshine and all our fatigueness will subside.
Nirhari and Bob.
Moonshine, moonshine.
Sambandha nahi jar, brita janma gele tar. So if you have no connection with Nityananda Prabhu, Nityananda means always. Nitya means always. Ananda means pleasure. There's another meaning you can draw. So therefore, if you have no connection with Nityananda Prabhu, say Bandha nahi jar brita janma gelo tar, he's simply wasting time. Brita means useless. Uselessly he's wasting time. So pasu bora durachar. And Narottam Das Thakur has used very strong words. Anyone who has no connection with Nityananda Prabhu, he's a pashu. Say pashu. He's a pashu means animal. So animal, how one animal can get happiness, that is not possible. The dog, from the childhood, he's searching after food, and cannot get food. Unless a dog has got a master, he's street dog and he's always unhappy. So better to become a dog of Nityananda Prabhu. Then we shall be happy, instead of becoming dog of so many other people. Everyone is dog. Everyone is searching after to serve a master. But none of them are satisfied because that is false master. You take real master, Nityananda Prabhu, you'll be happy. Say Pashu Bora Durachar. He does not know where is happiness. Where shall I become a dog? That our Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has sung. Therefore, Vaishnava Thakur Tomara Kukur, Bolia Janaha More. My dear Vaishnava Thakur, kindly accept me as your dog. As your dog, I am dog already, but I am Maya's dog. I'm not Vaishnava's dog, so kindly accept me. If you become a Vaishnava's dog, Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nishtar Payache Keva. If you do not become a dog of Vaishnava and Nityananda Prabhu, Nityananda is Guru. So if you do not become a dog of Nityananda Prabhu, Vaishnava, or Guru, there is no question of happiness. Se sambandha nahi yar brita janma gelo. Se pashu bora durachar nitai na bolilo muke majila samsara suke. He who has no connection with Nityananda Prabhu, he does not say Jai Nitai, Jai Gaura, and Majilo Samsara Suke. He thinks that this society, family, and society, friendship, and love divinely bestowed upon man. These materialistic persons, they say like that. That is called Mahilo Samsara Suke. In samsara, there cannot be any sukha, but he's attached. Majilo samsara, he's attracted, Majilo samsara suke. Vidyakule ki robibe tar. What will do with university education, or born in big family, or question mark? This will not help. This is not possible. Vidyakule ki karibe tar. Why they're accepting this false ahankara mata hoya nitai para pasaria as satyere sachakore mani, on account of being misled by false prestige and false egoism. Asat yere sachakore mani. We are accepting this body which is asat, which will not exist, and that we have taken as reality. Ahankare mata hoya nitai para saria. But if we take shelter of Nityananda Prabhu, then you get the enlightenment. Asat yere sacha korimani nityayer karuna habe braje Radha Krishna paibe dara nitai charana du kani.
Just before you read Nirhari Prabhu, I was going to mention that whenever either of you are reading, this is like where while you're speaking, there's always I mean, I'm not saying exactly right, but there's this always in the background while you're reading, and I have no idea. Like something is being amplified.
From the computer, maybe.
Yeah, I said this like an hour ago. It's
I
like the
can
cracklings coming from Nirhari's microphone whenever they speak.
There's like kind of like a constant grating going on in the background while you're reading. But I don't know. I don't.
notice it myself, Laura.
Closing the windows just in case.
No, it's the computer. I can hear it.
That's what it is. It's the computer sound.
It's our laptop.
Your voice sounds distorted to me today, Laura.
My voice sounds distorted.
Yours now too.
Yes.
Yeah, you go.
I've noticed that today. Yeah, today on yours, sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't.
Maybe
Yeah, it does that.
turn off the video.
You're all broken up yourself, Sangi.
Oh, Shangi.
I'm
I
trying.
can't hear you.
You're broken.
Oh, you're driving.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a sign that your computer needs to be fixed, or I'm not just saying for the reading, but I'm just saying you may want to look, because I never heard this problem from you before.
It's like calling India night.
Well, I can hear it right now. It's like,
What?
Does anyone else hear that?
Hear it from the speaker.
speaker.
Yes.
Maybe it's the speaker. What if we do the speakers?
Well, I did not hear that sound.
You don't hear it.
Oh no, it's definitely there.
Can you hear anything now?
I still hear
Yep.
it.
Oh yeah.
It's non-stop.
Is the speaker turned
I
on?
just hear a light crackling. It's not so heavy.
You can follow me. I'm just saying you may want to look into it for the future, because it's in every session now.
How about now?
Yeah, it's still there. Would you like to continue, Prabhu, so we can keep? Now it's off.
We're Narottam.
Oh, it's still there. Yeah, therefore Narottam.
Sorry about that. Therefore, Narottam Das Thakur advises that today is Nityananda Prabhu's Abhirbhav, appearance day. Let us at least remember today Nitai Pada Kamala. That is wanted. Nitai Charana Satya Tahara Deva Sevaka Nitya. The reality is Nitai Charana, and anyone who is servant of Nitai. So Nitayer Charana Satya Tahara Sevaka Nitya. One who has become the dog of Nityananda Prabhu, he gets his eternal life. We are eternal, but under misconception of material identification. We are under the subjugation of Maya. Budva, Budva, Praliyate, Bhagavad Gita 8:19. Tata Dehantara, Bhagavad Gita 2:13. It is very botheration, but they do not know. I am going from one body to another, transmigration, and that is not guaranteed. What kind of body? They have no science, no knowledge about understanding Tata Dehantara, the very first instruction of Bhagavad Gita. They are so rascals. They are proud of their education, their universities. This is going on.
You too.
Dritu. Nitai Charana Satya Tahara Sevaka. Nitai Pada Sadakoro Asha. Therefore, we should always expect to be under the shelter of Nitai Pada Kamala. Narotam Koro Dukhi. Narottam Das Thakur, he's Acharya. He's presenting himself. That is Acharya, means he's not Dukhi, but he's presenting himself as Dukhi. That is Acharya. Acharya, they are never Dukhi. But taking the common man's position, he says Narottama Koro Dukhi. Or in other words, Narottam means the best of human being. So here in this material world, one may be the best of human being, very exalted position, but everyone is Dukhi, unhappy. Narottam Koro Boro Dukhi, Nitai More Koro Sukhi. Only Nityananda can make me happy. Otherwise, not possible. Rako Ranga Charanera Pasha.
Are you finished your prasadam now? No. You might
I'm,
Now you
I'm
are, you can
driving
hold it
home,
recorded.
driving home. And
You're driving. Okay, go. Just finish up.
So today is Nityananda Prabhu's appearance day. We shall always pray, Nityananda Prabhu, kindly keep me under your shelter so that I am very dukhi. I am very unhappy. Under the shelter of your feet, I shall be happy. And that is real happiness. Thank you very much. Devotees. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so I have some wonderful nectar here that I've never read before. These are 12 prayers glorifying Lord Nityananda. Can you see this on your screen?
Yes, your voice is going. Your
Slow
voice
down and
is
practice.
going.
Yeah, well, probably a reflection of my consciousness.
No way.
Okay. Okay, I think it was, who was it? Okay, Rasangi's done or busy driving. And so then let's see, sharing the screen here. These look like really nectarine prayers. I've never read them before. Can you see them? 12 prayers glorifying Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Can you see them? Do you see that on your screen?
Yes.
yes,
Everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So Dvija Gauranga Prabhu, why don't let's skip the Sanskrit because I really want to get into the pastimes. So
Agreed.
if you can, why don't you read two verses, and Sikirani can read two verses, and Via
Sure.
can read two verses.
Okay. Are you going to scroll it up
Okay.
a bit? Thank you, sir.
This is Sriman Nityananda Dvadashakam. Well, actually, why don't you read three verses each? Because the Dvadashtaka means 10, right? Dvadashakam, I think. Is that correct? Dvadashakam? By Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada's dear God brother. Okay, go for it.
Oh, my heart, please eternally serve the lotus feet of that beautiful Sri Nityananda Chanda, who gives us Gaura Krishna. It is he, Nityananda Prabhu, who in the form of Anantadev perpetually performs Harinam Kirtan with infinite mouths. He perpetually holds on his head the earth planet like an insignificant speck of dust, and he performs the divine service of his all in all, Krishna, as Sheshadev Ananta, taking the forms of the Lord's paraphernalia, such as umbrella, bed, seat, and clothing.
Read one more. Why don't you read two each?
O my heart, you please eternally serve Sri Nityananda Chandra, who gives us Gaura Krishna. He maintains the entire universe in his expansion of Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, residing in the hearts of all living beings. His glories are sung by the Vedic hymns as the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu of thousands and thousands of heads. Sahasra Shirsha Purusha. Within his womb, Garbha, unlimited universes are situated. He is the master of the Lord of material nature, Karanadakshaya Vishnu, in whose womb unlimited universes are situated, and by whom the entire multitude of jiva souls are sheltered.
Sikarani, 2 verses, please, and then Via. Oh, my heart.
Yeah. O my heart, please eternally render divine service to that gracious giver of Gaura Krishna, Sri Nityananda Chandra. In the great transcendental kingdom, Paravyoma, Vaikuntha, he expands into the form of Sankarshna of the first quadruple expansion, in which form he never expands the ecstasy of the divine pastimes of Sri Hari in the conscious plane of pure existence. Sudha Sattva. Within the Jitwas, he presides as the ego, and sometimes he shows his divine pastimes just like an ordinary Jitwa. Oh, heart. Oh, did you skip the verse? Are we not
Yes,
reading the
so
verse?
we don't have time to read all.
Okay. O heart, please constantly serve the dust of the lotus feet of the gracious bestower of Gauri Krishna, Sri Nityananda Chandra. It is he who presides in all his glory in Dwarka with his transcendental associates as the original all attractive personality. Mula Shankarshna, above that plane in Mathura, he enjoys his pastimes in the form known as Prabhava Vilasa, and in Rajapuri he is known as Balarama, the ultimate source of all incarnations. And he supportively plays with his younger brother, his all in all Sri Krishna.
Via, please read 2 translations, 2 verses.
My dear heart, please eternally worship that gracious giver of Gaura Krishna, Sri Nityananda Chandra. It is he who bestows upon us pure unallowed divine love for the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna Prema, composed of the most supreme and intense ecstasy. The love that he distributes carries an inconceivable import. It is of such ecstasy that the sadhus, who may experience only a hint of its fragrance, hatefully cast away all thought of liberation in the one as propounded in the Vedas. Furthermore, his avatars, who bestow the divine love of service in the transcendental majesty of Vaikuntha, are but expansions of his expansion. Oh, my dear heart, please serve forever the lotus feet of that glorious giver of Gaura Krishna, who is known as Sri Nityananda Chandra. When Lord Nityananda Prabhu was a small boy, he performed supremely sweet and charming pastimes in the village of Ekachakra, invoking the deepest heartfelt happiness in his mother, father, relatives, and close friends. And later, after a sannyasi arrived at the house of young Nityananda and prayed to Hadai Pandit for his son, Lord Nityananda was placed in the hands of the traveling sadhu and wandered throughout the length and breadth of India, visiting sacred places of pilgrimage.
Dear heart, please eternally serve the lotus feet of that wonderful Sri Nityananda Chandra, who is the giver of Gaura Krishna. While wandering throughout the holy places, his heart was taken over with ecstasy by the association of the crown jewel of sannyasins, Srila Madhavendra Puri, and he came to Gauradham, the holy abode of Sri Gauranga. There he waited at the house of Nandanacharya for the self-revelation of the golden Lord Gaurasundar's divine pastimes with his associates, headed by Srivas Thakur. My heart, please constantly give thyself to the divine service of that gracious bestower of Gaura Krishna, Sri Nityananda Chandra. It was he who received the divine instruction from Gaura Chandra to deliver all souls by bestowing divine love through the holy name. Showing the extremity of his divine love, he delivered those two fallen wine-drinking Brahmins, Jagai and Madai, ruined by the degraded, inauspicious nature of Kali Yuga, even after they had attacked him and blood was oozing from his body. Dhaneshwar Prabhu.
Worship eternally, dear heart, that gracious bestower of Gaura Krishna, Sri Nityananda Chandra. Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ordered all his beloved followers to accept with worshipful reverence any small piece of the coping loincloth of Nityananda Prabhu, the topmost of personalities, above all social norms and strictures. Avadut. So Nityananda was Avadut. So he was beyond the social norms. Even if he is seen to touch an immoral drunken woman or Yavani, he is nonetheless worshipable by all the gods headed by Brahma. And he is the beloved leader among all those exalted devotees who lovingly captivate the heart of Sri Chaitanya Dev. My heart, please eternally render divine service unto that bestower of Gaura Krishna, Sri Nityananda Chandra. Sri Gaura Chandra manifested his sannyas lila for the purpose of delivering the persons of warped logic, deviated by exploitation and renunciation, karma and jnana. He delivered them by making them all chant the holy name of Krishna. After Mahaprabhu's acceptance of sannyas, Nityananda Prabhu followed him faithfully like a shadow wherever he went, over land, jungle, and swamp. Nityananda Prabhu is the fulfiller of the heart's wishes of Sri Gaura Chandra.
Why don't you finish this this poem, Dhaneshwar Prabhu, so we can start on the pastimes?
Day and night, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was intoxicated, tasting the sweetest love divine in the deep heart of Srimati Radharani. In that condition, he instructed Nityananda Prabhu and his associates to distribute the holy name of Krishna, Sri Krishna Nam. But Sri Nityananda Prabhu then went to Gauradesh and profusely distributed the priceless treasure of the true devotees, holy name of Sri Gaura, Sri Gaura Nam. Oh, my dear heart, please give yourself in service forever to that gracious benefactor of Gaura Krishna, Sri Nityananda Chandra. Dear Lord, O Nityananda Prabhu, Emperor of the Associates of Sriman Mahaprabhu, graciously grant this fallen soul firm and faithful devotion for Sri Gauranga, the supreme embodiment of the taste of the sweet nectar of the ecstasy of Sri Sri Radhakrishna's pastimes. By neglecting the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu, all sadhana or bhajan, spiritual practices, services, or worship become an illusion, just like a dream. I worship and adore with all my heart that gracious giver of Sri Gaura, the benevolent bestower of his shelter to the fallen souls, Sri Nityananda Chandra. I have a question about text 3, Gaura, if you would scroll back up to text 3.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
There, at the bottom. Okay. The last sentence. Within the jivas, he presides as the ego, and sometimes he shows his divine pastime, just like an ordinary jiva. Can anybody explain what is meant here? He presides as the ego.
Wow. Aren't different aspects of Krishna's expansion rulers of different aspects of self?
Within the jivas, that's us, he
Yeah.
presides as the ego.
Gaura,
The only thing that I was getting from that is that everybody has a sense of self,
Right.
an identity. Okay, ego is our identity. And that somehow or other is a manifestation of Nityananda, but I don't know if that's correct, and I certainly don't understand that.
in Brahma Samhita,
Precise means rules, or precise over.
It doesn't mean that he is the ego. He rules the ego.
But it
is
says
it?
as,
Oh, he
precise
presides.
as
Oh,
the
yeah.
ego.
I don't
No.
know.
It's
We
very
need to.
triptych.
Yeah.
look at the Sanskrit. Gaura Prabhu, can you scroll it slightly down?
Jiva
So
Hankar.
right in the middle, there's Jiva Humkar Bhavanaspad.
Yeah. Oh, you just
So it is a Humkar. It's Jiva Humkar. So elsewhere in Brahma Samhita, it's mentioned how Lord Shiva is the false ego as well. So the two, it's a harmonized thing. It's a Shakti of
Well, here it doesn't say
Nityananda.
false ego.
Yeah.
It doesn't say ahankar, it says ahankar.
Nirhari Bavatrini, do you have a comment on this, please?
about the
It
mic's on.
says Sudha Sattva. He's presiding as the ego, but it says it's not the false ego. It's Sudha Sattva. But I think we're all speculating because none of us know Sanskrit, and each
Well, a
Sanskrit
Humkar,
word
a Humkar,
Yeah,
a Humkar is the
some
false ego. A Humkar is false ego.
or no, it's ego on this. Jiva Hankara.
Yeah.
Jiva
And a
Hankara.
Humkar is false ego.
It's not a hankara,
has
it's
it.
Jiva Hankara.
Yes,
So
that's a combined
Jiva
term. That's a
Hankara.
combined two
That's
words.
right.
Jiva
Yeah,
and
the
a Humkar.
diacritical is the diacritical or the A. So it's
But
Jiva.
Yeah,
I would be really happy if there was someone that
Yeah, I'll do this with someone else. Otherwise, we won't hear any more pastimes of Lord Nityananda tonight.
thank you.
Yeah, it's very triptych.
Cryptic.
We'll ask the question to some devotee that's expert.
Yeah, let's pursue this.
Yes.
You know lots of pundits, Nirhari and Bavatrini. Maybe you can bring this to them.
Okay.
All right. I'll save it here, and I'll put it into the. Where
Can
do
you
I?
save the Sanskrit?
I need to put the Sanskrit into. Okay, you're right.
Do you have it in real Sanskrit with the Sanskrit letters?
Oh no, I don't have that. I'm sorry.
Well, that'll help.
Not real
us.
Sanskrit.
Yeah, not the transliteration. Okay.
No, I don't have that. Hey, let me find this here. I'm trying to work as quick as I can. And you're the only one that hasn't read tonight, and I notice you never do read. Will you make an exception on Lord Nityananda's appearance day and please read something for us tonight? Or you prefer to remain silent? All right, so now we're ready to finally enter into these wonderful pastimes. And that was amazing amazing verses, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we are. The Divine Pastimes of Sri Nityananda Chandra, compiled from lectures of His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti. Oh, this is Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj.
Okay.
Very nice.
Very well.
Let's see who last read. Was it? Were you the last to read?
Ganeshwar.
Daneshwar was the last to read. Okay. So then after me, now Daneshwar is at the top. He's got his hand up. Did that mean you have more questions, Daneshwar, or can we continue? Okay. So is it your turn now, Nurhari Bavatrini? Yes?
Your mic
Okay,
is off. Okay.
all right. Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, composed a Sanskrit poem glorifying Sri Nityananda Prabhu called the Sriman Nityananda Dwadashakam. Within that composition, Srila Guru Maharaj gave his explanation about the transcendental personal identity of Nityananda Prabhu, and not with one shloka, with 4 shlokas of explanation. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami glorified Nityananda Prabhu in the beginning of his Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and all the shlokas he wrote referred to Nityananda Prabhu's existence above the mundane manifestation in the Paravyoma Dham, the spiritual world. I was surprised that Srila Guru Maharaj began his explanation about Nityananda Prabhu in that way in this shloka. O my heart, please eternally serve the lotus feet of that beautiful Sri Nityananda Chandra who gives us Gaura Krishna. It is he, Nityananda Prabhu, who in the form of Anantadev perpetually performs Harinam Kirtan with infinite mouths. He perpetually holds on his head the earth planet, like an insignificant speck of dust, and he performs the divine service of his all-in-all Krishna as Seshadevananta, taking the forms of the Lord's paraphernalia such as the umbrella, bed, seat, and clothing. Srila Guru Maharaj started with this shloka because he was following the main directives of the previous acharyas, from Vrindavan Das Thakur to Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, and from Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami to Srila Guru Maharaj. We are seeing the line of progress and the speciality of Srila Guru Maharaj. His second sloka is above Brahmaloka. O my heart, you please eternally serve Sri Nityananda Chandra, who gives us Gaura Krishna. He maintains the entire universe in his expansion of Kshirodakshai Vishnu, residing in the hearts of all living beings. His glories are sung by the Vedic hymns as Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Thousands and thousands of heads, Shahasra, Shirsha, Purusha, within his womb, Garbha, unlimited universes are situated. He is the master of the Lord of material nature, Karano Dakshai Vishnu, in whose womb unlimited universes are situated, and by whom the entire multitude of jiva souls are sheltered.
Oh, excuse me.
Sounds like he's more or less reiterating all the verses that we just finished going over. So if you don't mind, I'd just like to, yeah, I'd like to go to this section here.
Okay. The pastimes.
Yeah, Hari Prabhu?
Where do we start? 2 Prabhus and 1 Mahaprabhu?
Yes.
In the scripture, it is written, Eka Mahaprabhu Ara Prabhu Dui Jana, Dui Prabhu Seve Mahaprabhura Charana. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Arilila 7:14. There is one Mahaprabhu. He is the famous Sri Gauranga Sundar of Sri Navadvip Dham, who later became known as Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Advaita Prabhu and Nityananda Prabhu both are Prabhu, Master, but Mahaprabhu is Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Master. Both Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu very happily served Mahaprabhu and spread his conception of Krishna consciousness throughout the universe during their divine pastimes. Advaita Prabhu prayed constantly with tears, Ganges water and tulsi leaves for Lord Krishna to appear and rescue the fallen souls of Kali Yuga, and Mahaprabhu appeared in answer to his prayer. So Mahaprabhu appeared by the grace of Advaita Prabhu. But before Mahaprabhu appeared, Nityananda Prabhu also appeared and made all the arrangements for rescuing the jiva souls of this world.
Vijay Garanga Prabhu.
I
Young
can read now.
Nityananda.
And then Dia.
Nityananda Prabhu was born in Radhadesh, near Burdwan in the Birbhum district of Bengal, in the village of Ekachakra. Later, that village became known as Garbhavas, and at present it is very famously known as Virachandrapur. Virachandra Prabhu was the son of Nityananda Prabhu, and to honor his name, the village is famous as Virachandrapur. Gauranga Mahaprabhu also went there, so everyone worships that place. There, Nityananda Prabhu took birth as the only son of his mother, Padmavati Devi, and his father, Hari Pandit Ojha. After Nityananda Prabhu had taken birth, all auspiciousness came to Radhadesh. It was enriched so much with Krishna Bhakti. He grew up there with the children of the village, and his pastimes were all very miraculous. All the children of Ekar Chakra would play with Nityananda Prabhu, but he would only play Krishna Lila. Just like Balaram played as a child in Vrindavan, Nityananda Prabhu's childhood very similarly happened in Radhadesh as he enacted so many pastimes of Krishna Lila with the other children of the village. Many wonderful descriptions of that have been given in the scriptures.
Dia.
Taken by a sannyasi. When Nityananda Prabhu was just 12 years old, a sannyasi came to his father's house. As soon as the sannyasi saw young Nityananda, he immediately understood that he was not an ordinary boy, and he felt he could not leave Nityananda Prabhu's association. The sannyasi fainted to see Nityananda Prabhu and finally asked his father, Haday Pandit, I'm going to many pilgrimage places, and it is my prayer that you give this boy to me as an associate. The Pastimes of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, servitor. Hearing this was like a thunderbolt to Haday Pandit. Haday Pandit was beside himself to hear that, and he fainted. Nityananda Prabhu was the very joy of his life. But at that time, religion was very strong within the mind of everyone. It was the custom that if any sannyasi, especially any Vaishnav sannyasi, wanted anything, one's son or even one's own life or anything, the people are giving everything to that sannyasi. Nityananda Prabhu was more than life to Haday Pandit, but that was the custom. Haday Pandit felt he could never leave his only son Nityananda, but he also felt he could not say, no, I cannot leave Nityananda. So finally he considered, the sannyasi has prayed and we must fulfill his desire. He could not deny the sannyasi's demand, and finally he gave Nityananda Prabhu to that sannyasi. After giving away Nityananda, Haday Pandit was like, Pagal man, Loke Bhali, Hado Oja Haili Pagala.
That's
He,
Chaitanya.
sorry, Chaitanya, what is it? Sorry, Chaitanya
Bhagavat.
Bhagwat 2398. He became half mad in separation, and Mother Padmavati fainted, but still they gave away Nityananda Prabhu. In this way, Nityananda Prabhu left his house when he was 12 years old. His pastimes were miraculous, and he was an Advatut. Thank you, Advatut from childhood. He did not care. He went with that sannyasi and toured the whole of India. Some say that sannyasi was Madhavendra Puri, and some say he was another sannyasi. But it is certain that later Nityananda met Madhavendra Puri in the pilgrimage places. It is not clear who the sannyasi was, but no doubt he was a great personality, and Nityananda Prabhu served him. We think it was Madhavendra Puri, but later we know that Nityananda Prabhu and Madhavendra Puri could understand each other easily, and Madhavendra Puri accepted Nityananda Prabhu by divine will as his disciple.
Can I comment a little thing today, what I heard from Bhagavat Maharaj, and about who is Hadai, the father of Nityananda Prabhu. Actually, it's Dasarat Maharaj.
We said that earlier. You
Oh, we
were
said that
late to
earlier.
class.
Okay, so
He's also Vasudeva.
so when the sannyas came to beg, because of his tradition in the family, that his word was, he preferred to die to break his word. So he said, the sannyas approached him and said, give me alms. And his father, Nityananda's father, said, okay, whatever you like. He didn't, think about, oh, maybe, keep something or anything like that. He said, well, whatever, yes, I promise. So that was it. And the other thing that it was stressed today, that during the battle of Kurukshetra, when Krishna picked up the wheel, the chakra, he threw it at Bhishma, and it actually landed at Nityananda's birthplace. That's the name, Eka Chakra.
Chakra, I see. Interesting. Thank you. Yeah, so this work here is known as the Sri Sri Nityananda Mahimam Ritam. Where is Krishna? Meeting Madhavendra Puri was a turning point in Nityananda Prabhu's life, and after that he went to so many pilgrimage places. He saw all the pilgrimage places in the ecstasy of Krishna Prem. Everywhere he went, he gave Krishna Prem, but he himself was hiding. Nityananda Prabhu was perhaps 1 year senior in age to Mahaprabhu. I thought it was much more than that. And before joining in Mahaprabhu's pastimes, Nityananda Prabhu did not reveal much of his actual nature, but he was always thinking himself to be Balaram, and his activities were like that. He was not hiding that. Finally, he went to Vrindavan, where he searched. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? He asked the Brajabasis where he could find Krishna, and Krishna himself, in the form of a human, came to him and said, I am not here. I have now appeared in a household in Navadvip. Then clearly the feelings manifested within the heart of Nityananda Prabhu. Now my time has come to join Chaitanya Dev, Nimai Pandit, in Navadvip Dham. He knew that Nimai Pandit was really Krishna himself. Dhaneshwar Prabhu.
The Avadut. When Sripad Nityananda Prabhu first came to Navadvip Dham, no one could understand who he was or where he had come from. No one could say whether he was a brahmachari, a grahasta, a vanaprastha, or a sannyasi. People saw all of those forms in him. At that time, many people came to criticize Nityananda Prabhu's divine character because he lived under no rules or regulations. Actually, Nityananda Prabhu's nature was to be an avadut. Very ordinary idea of an avadut has been given in Vishnu Tantra, Antashakta Bahi Saiva, Shaiva, Sabayam Vaishnavo Mata, Nanavai Vesha Dara Kula, Icharanti Maha Mahi Ale. He appears to be internally like a Shakta, a worshiper of the material energy. Externally, he appears like a follower of Lord Shiva, but still participates in the assemblies of Vaishnavas and seems to appreciate Vaishnava thought. He does not care for any particular dress or follow any rules or regulations as he wanders throughout the world. More?
Yes, why don't you just finish the section?
But Nityananda Prabhu is fully transcendental and should never be confused with anyone mundane. His nature as an avadut can be understood in this way. In his heart, Anta is playing Radha Krishna, Shuddha Shakta, and his form externally, Bahi, is like Lord Shiva, Shaiva. When he joins an assembly, his mentality is fully that of a Vaishnava. When he is traveling, sometimes he wears cloth, sometimes he wears no cloth. Sometimes he wears many gold ornaments, jewels, and rich garments, and sometimes he wears sannyasi dress. Really, avadut means one who is self-controlled, is not controlled by scriptural rules or regulations. Whatever he does, that is always right and perfect. He will do anything and everything and is never to be considered wrong. If he is seen to be wrong externally in the eyes of others, then that is also right. Nityananda Prabhu became known by everyone as Avadut. Everyone called him Avadut. The people even forgot that his name was Nityananda. They would say, "Oh, Avadut is coming."
Baba training, hurry.
Okay. So,
He will wear his loincloth also.
yeah, waiting for Nityananda. Nityananda Prabhu appeared. Oh, Rishangi can read, she
Yes, she
said.
was saying she can read now.
Oh, okay.
So,
Please read them.
Yeah. Waiting for Nityananda. Nityananda Prabhu appeared to the common people as if he were a mad Avadut as he came to Navadvip. At that time, Mahaprabhu had also come back from Gaya Dham. Mahaprabhu started performing Sankirtan every night at Srivas Pandit's house and showed his Krishna Prem to the devotees' assembly. Advaita Prabhu declared that Mahaprabhu was Bhagavan. Srivas Pandit, Gadadhar Pandit, and all the devotees everywhere declared that Mahaprabhu was Bhagavan. And Mahaprabhu also showed them that. When the devotees understood the divine form of Mahaprabhu, they were very happy. And they understood that the Lord himself had appeared for bestowing his mercy to the world through Harinam Sankirtan. While Mahaprabhu was not showing his full manifestation as the giver of Krishna Prem, nobody knew why Mahaprabhu wasn't widely starting his Sankirtan movement. But when Nityananda came, they understood the cause of Mahaprabhu's behavior. Mahaprabhu had been waiting for Nityananda. Jai.
Jai. Is Raghavendu Prabhu available to read?
No, he's resting.
Okay. Nirhari and Baba Trini. Isn't it your turn, I think? Nirhari, Baba Trini?
Yes. Nityananda Mahaprabhu's dream. Nityananda Prabhu came to Navadvip searching, where is Nimai Pandit? Where is Nimai Pandit? When he understood that Mahaprabhu was living in Jagannath Mishra's house, he hid himself in Mayapur to wait and see if Mahaprabhu would discover him. He went to the house of Mahaprabhu's dear devotee, Nandan Acharya, and hid himself, telling Nandan Acharya, "Do not tell anyone anything. I want to see what Krishna will do." That morning, Mahaprabhu told his devotees, Taladwaja ekarata samsarera sara, Aisha rahila rata amara duyara. Last night I saw in my dream a chariot marked with the flag of a palm tree. In the chariot of Baladev himself. Within the chariot there was one Mahapurusha, great personality, and he was searching for my house. That chariot came in front of my house and met with me. I have seen that Mahapurusha. I am thinking that Baladev himself has taken the form of a Mahapurusha and he has already come to Navadvip. You go and search where he is. He must be somewhere in Navadvip. He has appeared here and I want to see if he will discover me. The devotees searched everywhere, but they could not find Nityananda Prabhu. They were thinking it was simply Mahaprabhu's dream. And they came back and told Mahaprabhu, we could not find him anywhere. But Mahaprabhu said, it is not only a dream, it is a truthful dream. Nityananda is very powerful and he is hiding himself. It is a very hidden matter, so I shall go to find him. Then Mahaprabhu went directly to Nandanacharya's Bhavan, and there Mahaprabhu and his devotees saw Nityananda Prabhu seated on the veranda of the house. Nityananda had seen Mahaprabhu come and could not move because his heart was so full of ecstasy and the joy of Krishna Prem. When Mahaprabhu saw Nityananda, his heart was also full of the joy of Krishna Prem, and he felt very much intoxicated. They both fainted. Then Mahaprabhu came forward and embraced Nityananda, and they both fainted again. After some time, they regained their senses and they cried in the name of Krishna. Nityananda Prabhu said, I went to Vrindavan, but Krishna was not there. Then someone told me, you were here in Navadvip, so I have come. Now I beg you, please save me.
Nityananda Prabhu surrendered to Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu embraced Nityananda Prabhu with full love, affection, honor, everything. Both Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu took their divine forms, and the devotees understood that Nityananda Prabhu was not an ordinary sannyasi or ordinary brahmachari. They did not know Nityananda Prabhu at the time, but they saw Mahaprabhu's expression and Nityananda Prabhu's expression, and they immediately understood that they had both appeared from the divine abode. In many places in the scriptures, it is said that Mahaprabhu is not different from Krishna, Abhinna Swarup, and in that way they also consider Nityananda Prabhu.
So instead of just reading 2 paragraphs each, why don't we read just like one section each? Vijay Gauranga Prabhu, Maha Sankirtan.
Maha Sankirtan. That was the first day that Nityananda Prabhu joined in Mahaprabhu's party. And up to his last days, Nityananda Prabhu preached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's glories. From that day, Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu started Maha Sankirtan. Mahaprabhu appeared to inaugurate Sankirtan Yajna, sacrifice in the form of Sankirtan, congregational chanting, as described in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
There's a radio or something that's playing that keeps trying to leak in to our, I don't know what it is.
There is interference there.
Yeah, it's been all day, all this reading. I don't know where it's coming from. Sorry, I apologize to everyone. It's not me.
Krishna Varnam Tisha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Bharshadam Yagyai Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti Hi Sumedasaha. In the age of Kali, persons of fine theistic intellect perform the sacrifice of congregational chanting, Sankirtan Yajna, to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings nothing but the names of Krishna and describes his glories with great pleasure. He is Krishna himself, appearing in a molten gold complexion born from supreme divine emotion. With his personal beauty, divine name, all merciful nature, and benevolent associates, he destroys the darkness of ignorance in the mundane world. Mahaprabhu himself gave the gist of the nature of Harinam Sankirtan. Cheto Darpanam Arjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kaiva Chandrika Vitarnam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Svaranam Sarvatma Snaparam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Kindly scroll up, Gaura Prabhu. Thank you. May Sri Krishna Sankirtan be all victorious in its pristine glory. This congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord cleanses the looking glass of consciousness, extinguishes the raging forest fire of material existence, and spreads the benediction moon rays that cause the lotus of the heart to bloom. This chanting is pure ecstasy. Do I continue?
Mm-hmm.
It is the flavor of full nectar at every moment, bathing and cooling the entire self. That Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, that supremely victorious Sankirtan of Mahaprabhu, started with Nityananda Prabhu's arrival, and in such a glorious way continued day by day in Sri Navadvip Dham.
Prasangi?
Yes, Mahaprabhu's preaching party. Already Advaita Acharya had joined Mahaprabhu. Even before Mahaprabhu, Haridas Thakur very beautifully and intensely preached Krishna consciousness and the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Previously, Haridas Thakur had many tests in his preaching, but ultimately even the Muslim governor came under his influence. But when Haridas Thakur saw Mahaprabhu reveal his divine form of a religious preacher, Haridas Thakur joined Mahaprabhu's mission. Then when Nityananda Prabhu joined the party of Mahaprabhu, the party of Mahaprabhu took full form. Nityananda Prabhu was always intoxicated with Krishna Prem and the treasure of Mahaprabhu's unique gift of divine love. When Nityananda Prabhu joined, Mahaprabhu wanted to publicly preach Krishna consciousness. Haridas Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu were very dear friends, bosom friends. Both were intoxicated with Harinam Sankirtan, and Mahaprabhu chose Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur to begin his preaching program. It's interesting with an E at the end. Program, British style. He selected them to be like military generals because they could widely, wholeheartedly, and affectionately preach Krishna consciousness in a lovely way. Jai.
Via, Mahaprabhu's sacred order.
Mahaprabhu's sacred order. Mahaprabhu gave them his preaching line, Jagat Tera Pita Krishna Yena Bhaja Bapa Pitir Drohi Atakira Janma Janma Tapa. Krishna is the father of the entire universe, and anyone who does not respect his father is rebellious and sinful, and therefore subjected to miseries birth after birth. Bolo Krishna Bhaja Krishna Laha Krishna Nama. Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dhana Prana. Chant Krishna, worship Krishna, and sing the glories of Krishna. Krishna is your mother. Krishna is your father. Krishna is the wealth of your life. Shuno Shuno Nityananda. Shuno Haridas. Sarvatra Amarha Agyakaraha Prakasha. Rati Ghare Ghare Giya Kare E Diksha. Bolo Krishna Bhaja Krishna Krishna Kara Shiksha. Iha Be Ara Na Bhali Bha Bhale Bha Dina Avashane Diva Avashane Ashi Amarhe Kahiba Tomara Karhile Biksha Ye Na Bhila Bha Tabe Ami Chakra Hashta Sabhare Takibha. Listen, listen, Nityananda. Listen, Haridas. Go door to door and tell everyone they will practice Krishna consciousness. Tell them Krishna consciousness is supreme goal of life. Tell them, Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Koro Krishna Shiksha. Chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Serve Lord Krishna and learn the teachings of Sri Krishna. You will come back to me daily in the evening. Nothing else is necessary for you to do. And whoever will take it with a clean heart, whoever will take it with a clean heart, I shall be a slave for them. And whoever will be anti, I shall punish them. In this way, Mahaprabhu gave orders to Nityananda and Haridas Thakur and started his preaching program.
Shikarani?
Do I continue? Oh, sorry.
At first, Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur started preaching to gentle families without any problems, but then they saw Jagai and Madhai in the road. Jagai and Madhai were prestigious in the city as local administrators of the government, but they were men of very bad character. They were always drinking, eating meat, and doing many wrong things. That day they were drinking in the road in front of everyone. Nityananda Prabhu had a desperate mood, and when he saw Jagai and Madhai seated in the road drinking wine, etc., Nityananda Prabhu told Haridas, "These are the perfect persons to purify with Harinam Sankirtan." Haridas Thakur was a wise man. He said, "Don't go there. The whole world is open for you. Why are you going to them? You can preach Mahaprabhu's conception to everyone. You leave them. They are very bad. It's extra. Nityananda Prabhu said, "That's a perfect target. I must rescue them. Then Mahaprabhu's glory will be more and more exalted all over the world." Haridas was also a little aged. He said, "You can go, I won't go there. If they will chastise you, you may be able to run away, but I cannot run, so it will be dangerous for me. It's not necessary to go there." He was testing the mind of Nityananda Prabhu, but Nityananda Prabhu said, "No, this is a first class opportunity for showing the quality of Mahaprabhu's mercy. You must go with me." Then they went to Jagai and Madai and said, "Oh Jagai, oh Madai, you are doing so many things, but if you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you will be rescued."
Finish the section, please.
Jagai and Madhai were drunk. They returned to Nityananda and Haridas. "Oh, you are sannyasis, and you have come here trying to teach us. We shall teach you. Get out of here. You are nonsense persons. Otherwise, we will kill you." Nityananda again approached them, but they came to beat Nityananda and Haridas. Haridas Thakur couldn't run away, but he tried. But the drunken Jagai and Madhai were unable to run properly, so Nityananda and Haridas got away by some means. Nityananda and Haridas came back, and Haridas reported to Mahaprabhu, "Today somehow I saved my life, but I will not go out again with that pagal, crazy Nityananda." Mahaprabhu smiled to hear their report, knowing that was what was to come.
You're the fastest reader I've ever met, Rani. Nichilila has come all the way from Pakistan. Hare Krishna, Nichilila, welcome back.
Hare Krishna.
You have not read it all. Please read. Please read this section. Pranams to you. Nityananda Prabhu's determination. Tell us all about it, Nichilila. You have Nityananda.
The next,
Your whole family has
yeah,
Nityananda Prabhu's determination for in Prahlada. You call it Prahlada Desh Dham? Is that what you call Pakistan?
yeah, exactly. It's Prahlada Desh. Yeah.
Jai. Because he actually appeared there, right? He appeared in the Pakistan area.
No, not Lord Nityananda, but I heard about Lord Narasimha.
Prahlad did not appear in Pakistan, but Nrsingadev did?
Yeah, and it is no. Basically, I was thinking that Lord Nityananda you are asking about.
No,
Prahlada Puri. Oh, okay.
I'm not asking about Nityananda. I asked, is the reason it's called Prahlada Desh, is that the reason why Pakistan is called Prahlada Desh? Because Sri Prahlad appeared there.
Yeah, exactly. There was some of the pastimes related to Prahlada Maharaj and Lord Narasimha Dev here in Pakistan. That's why it is called Prahlada Desh. Yeah.
Who would have known? That's why Pakistan must be glorified as Prahlad. So please continue. Nityananda Prabhu's determination.
Thank you. The next day, Nityananda Prabhu settled, I must give Krishna Prema to them. Nityananda again targeted Jagai and Madhai. Haridasa was behind. What shall he do? Mahaprabhu had ordered he and Nityananda to preach together. That day they went again, found Jagai and Madhai drinking wine. Nityananda Prabhu said, "Jagai and Madhai, you can do anything, but just chant Hare Krishna. It is the order of Mahaprabhu." When Nityananda told them Madai was very drunk and said, "Oh, the order of Mahaprabhu, you ran away yesterday, but today again you have come. I am going to show you." There was a clay pine pot nearby, and Madai threw it at head of Nityananda. The pot cut him, and with falling from the head, Nityananda Prabhu said, "This is more of Mahaprabhu mercy upon us, upon me." And he again told them, "You can beat me more and more. It is okay, no problem. You have hit me, but I shall excuse that. I forgive you. But you chant Hare Krishna. It is the order of Mahaprabhu. Without a doubt, you will be rescued." Mahaprabhu said, "Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Koro Krishna Shika. You please take this religion of Mahaprabhu." Madhai said, "Now again, you are coming to me. You are so energetic. I am going to show you. I shall teach you." Then again, Madhai took a clay wine pot and went through it Nityananda's Prabhu. But his brother Jagai took his hand and told him, "Nonsense. Why are you chastising this pigal sadhu? Pagal sadhu. He is a sannyasi. It is not necessary to hit him again. Why you are behaving like this? It is a nonsense. Leave him alone." Like this, Jagai made some good comments and stopped him.
Mahaprabhu's anger. In the meantime, Haridas had gone back and given news to Mahaprabhu about what had happened, that Nityananda Prabhu had been hit, and that he did not want to come back, as he was determined to give Harinam and Krishna Prem to Jagai and Madai. Then Mahaprabhu went there with his full battalion, and he saw the blood on Nityananda Prabhu's head. Mahaprabhu was very angry. He forgot his mundane appearance, and he called for his Sudarshan chakra. Chakra, 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 Prabhu dake gane gane. Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Lila 13:185. Chakra, chakra, chakra! He called out again and again. He wanted to cut off the heads of Jagai and Madai. Everyone saw the chakra following behind Mahaprabhu as he chastised Jagai and Madai. I shall kill you! You have dealt wrongly with Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu took the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu and said, What are you doing? This is not Dvapara Yuga. It is Kali Yuga. Here, tolerance and humility are necessary. If you want to bestow your mercy upon others through tolerance and humility, you can do that. You cannot use the chakra in this avatar. This incarnation is not for that. Mahaprabhu said, I cannot tolerate this type of activity of the Asuras. Nityananda replied, but both of them are not offenders. Madai is an offender. He hit me. Jagai rescued me from him. One saved me from the other's stupidity. Daneshwar Prabhu?
Mahaprabhu's sympathy.
Is Danesh?
After hearing that Jagai had saved Nityananda, Mahaprabhu excused Jagai. Jagai took the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and fell down thinking of his previous karma. He took the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu, please forgive my offenses. There is no other way for me. Mahaprabhu embraced Jagai. Then Jagai received Krishna Prema. The circumstances were very heavy, but Madai also became a little conscious by seeing Jagai's activities. Madai said, I have done so much sinful work, but Jagai has got relief from all his sins. Why not me? Nityananda Prabhu said, Mahaprabhu, please forgive their offenses. Then Madai took the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu said, I cannot do the same for you as I did for Jagai. You go to Nityananda Prabhu. He will give you forgiveness. Then you will get my embrace. Otherwise, it is impossible for me to accept you. Nityananda Prabhu will give you forgiveness. You will get that result of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Then Madai took Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet. Nityananda Prabhu embraced Madai. Then Mahaprabhu embraced Madai and his sin was cleared. Jagai and Madai became pure devotees and they cried so much. We have done so much wrong, etc., etc. Jagai and Madai then chanted Hare Krishna and danced with Krishna Prema. I have a question. So in another reading, we hear, can I ask?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Other places reading that Jagai and Madai were ordered first to serve the Vaishnavas, and they set up a ghat on the Ganga to wash the feet of the devotees. And by that action, they became purified. Not that they got the mercy of Lord Chaitanya right away. That's how I remember it. Perhaps somebody else remembers better than me or can correct me on that.
I also,
the other question I have is, who has written this that we're reading?
This is Srila Prabhupada described his dearmost son, Bhakti Sundar Govinda Swami. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj's disciple.
Yes.
His translation? Is that what we're reading? Did he write in English, or are we reading a translation of?
I know that it's been all accumulated from his talks. It's a compilation of him speaking.
We just heard today from I think it was Chaitanya Bhagavat that they did receive mercy from Lord Chaitanya, but first they received mercy from Nityananda. Then they did the Ghat because they always felt that they were very fallen and they would ask everyone for forgiveness. But that Jagai he felt something in his heart, and when he saw Nityananda bleeding, and he stopped Madai from killing him. And so then Nityananda told Lord Chaitanya, and he gave his mercy to Jagai, but he would not give his mercy to Madai until Madai went to Nityananda. And after that, they did the Ghat. They always considered that they had committed so many offenses. They served Vaishnavas and asked everyone personally to forgive them.
And it was
That's in the
Madai's initiative.
Hmm?
It was Madai's initiative to do that. He felt that he was continuously depressed
Yes, Madai.
and crying and lamenting how fallen he was.
I think it's his.
Where's that from? Vijay Prabhu? Chaitanya Bhagavat?
Yeah.
Can't recall.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it's in Chaitanya Bhagavat.
Yeah.
But also the what was clarified today in the lectures that we heard, that is Nityananda is Ekanda Guru Tattva, the principle of Guru, and so by first pleasing Nityananda, asking and receiving his mercy, then we can receive the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in the case of Jagai, he did something that pleased Nityananda, and Madai hadn't. And so that's what Lord Chaitanya sends him. First, he sends him back to Nityananda Prabhu. You beg him for forgiveness. A joke. They went to AA, so they had to go open the Ghat and beg forgiveness for everybody they have offended. That's one of the 10 steps, isn't it?
12 steps.
Or 12 steps.
It is.
I read, I don't remember where and I don't remember who, but several times over the years, I have read that Jagai and Madai were making fun of the chanting and drunkenly. And that's when Lord Nityananda thought,
Namabas.
he thought, oh, they're ready.
I mean, they're pretty extraordinary to have the presence, and then the Lord embraced them, and Nityananda. I mean, to have the attention of Nityananda, Nitai Gaura, the Lord, the Supreme Lord. They're very.
But if
Are
I
they
am correct, what?
descended from Vaikuntha?
Are they descended from Vaikuntha? Is that what you're asking?
Are Jagai and Madai? Sometimes I'm told that they're
Jai and Vijay.
Jai and Vijay.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're Jai and Vijay. They came for an extra. But what were you saying, Prabhu? That it's kind of, it sounds like you're saying, like in the story of Ajamil, he wasn't immediately. He had to do meditation and become pure, but he went to Harkipur. But I don't think that was the case, according to what I heard over the years, and especially today. I don't think that was the case with Jagai and Madai. And like Dvija was saying, Madai was crying and crying, and then he actually built the Ghat with his own hands, and he would assist people when they took bath and take care of their clothes and beg forgiveness.
Dinesh, more comments to make.
Can't hear.
Question her, she's answering or what? My question is, did they, because this seems like Leela, did they descend from Goloka to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his pastimes, Jagai and Madai, or were they actual fallen jivas like us? Anybody know anything about that?
They were Jai and Vijay. That's what I
you
said.
Jai and Vijay.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't seem to be ordinary people, jivas,
Okay.
like to have that occur to them.
Jai and Vijay only had to do 3 tours, and the 3 tours were up in Krishna Lila.
This was a bonus.
Three as demons. And you can see in this case, they've flipped over. They became back to the bhakta. They became bhakta.
Then if you know the story, like the offense, Brahm Bimohan, the confusion of Lord Brahma, and he was yesterday. I was hearing Shamarani Jadharani Didi that she was reading from. I don't know the passage because I when I started the program, she had already started. But Lord Brahma still felt really really bad about his offense, even though Krishna had forgiven him after a while. And that scene that we see in the Krishna book. But he came back, he started meditating, Lord Brahma started meditating on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whom appeared. He said, okay, don't worry, you'll have a chance to become humble. And thus he appears as Haridas Thakur. The same thing with Indra. So it's that we read in one part.
What did Lord Brahma feel bad about?
His offense,
When he
kidnapping the the coward boys, the cows. His arrogance.
Mohan Lila.
Brahma Bimohan Lila. So when we read Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna book, there is forgiveness for Lord Krishna, but it goes on. The Leelas are not just separated, compartmental. They have a link between them. The personages that we hear about, they continue to be that, to exist. Lord Indra and Lord Brahma. So they still feel bad about what they've done, even though they were forgiven, the first time. So same thing happens to Lord Indra. He goes to Navadvip Dham to ask forgiveness and to actually get promoted. I think all these devotees got promoted, like Lord Brahma appeared as Haridas Thakur, and then they are welcome entering into the Braja pastimes through the pastimes of Sri Nityananda.
What role did Indra take then?
What did Indra do?
He came as Indra
in Navadvip.
In Navadvip, he appeared in Godrundvip.
Again?
You're cutting off. I'm sorry. Who came? He brought, I think it was brought Shirabi in front of him. He went to Godrum,
right.
and he's praying to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the case of Lord Brahma, and this, I didn't hear the full story before that. Where was he? But Lord Brahma starts meditating on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he appears to him, and he asks forgiveness again. He felt unsatisfied with the first time, and so he said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Don't worry, you'll take birth, and you'll be humble as nobody can be. In that way, and you're repenting. In that way, you'll be absolutely absolved, although but he wasn't very satisfied with it.
Yes. What? Speak, please. Can't hear. Louder.
Still didn't get it that you said Indra somehow or others also appeared in Lord Chaitanya's Leela?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody went there. Maya, all the incarnations. Krishna appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
To Indra for now. Okay.
Yeah.
He just wants to hear about Indra. He wants.
Otherwise, I get confused.
Yes. I could find out. Actually, Gaura could find out. Probably Tridani Maharaj remembers from what book, what passage. But yes, Lord Indra goes.
But not in the pastimes of Chaitanya. This is it? I'm asking, is it in the pastimes when Mahaprabhu appears? Or is it like Maya meditating in Mayapur?
No, the whole Chaitanya appeared to them, whether it was in the scheduled incarnation or not. As he appears to Maya before that, he appears to Samudra Sena, the general, during the, there's a place called Samudra Sena. There's a general that he wanted to, he worshipped actually Radha Krishna on the Pastimes of Braj. He worshipped Lord Chaitanya even before he had appeared. It was during the times of Krishna. So he figured that if he attacked when the Rajasuya happens and the horse came, he grabbed the horse. He challenged Krishna, and so Bhima was sent uh, to Mayapur, actually to Navadvip, and he fights with his king. Now the king wanted to make Krishna appear, and so he said, if I get Bhima in trouble, Krishna will appear. I will have darshan. And so these pastimes are.
What does that have to do with Indra?
That what I'm saying is that Madai was repentant and continued to feel bad about it.
Yes.
So then
This is the nature of high-class people. High-class person makes a mistake. They don't forget that they made that mistake. They don't forgive themselves so easily,
Right. So
even if they're forgiven.
Right. So that was the case with Indra. That was the case for Lord Brahma. And so I don't see why not the case with Madai, which like we don't know yet. And I'm sure it's in the. I'm sure
Perfect
it's in one of.
commentary, Prabhu. Perfect.
Okay. I'm just sorry.
I'm
She's
sorry, I
thinking
just
that
got
I'm
lost.
off
No,
the
I
wall.
didn't think you were off the wall. I got lost. That's
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
So that's. I mean,
So-
this is Krishna himself as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it's Balaram himself. They appear in Navadvip, but they have appeared before to many devotees in Navadvip. Navadvip is just not now. It's the only place that doesn't get destroyed. In the last destruction of the universe, it doesn't get destroyed. The story begins that. What is it? Maitreya, the great sage that wanted to live for 7 destructions, 7 cycles of creation and destruction.
Augustine?
No,
Augustine?
not Augustine.
Was it?
No.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember.
So anyhow, he ends up in Godrum Dweep. It's the only place that didn't get submerged.
Sure.
So it's very ancient. It's eternal. This lila is eternal. So sometimes it's manifested, and to the eyes of people, lucky ones there, but it continues on. It's not the same as Vrindavan, Goma Vrindavan. When Krishna
Maybe
appears.
another interesting point on this. If you're a high-class personality like the demigods, very high class, if you make a mistake, you know that the most merciful incarnation is Mahaprabhu. So what better person to go to?
Yes. Yeah.
So, Dinesh Prabhu, so you were saying that they didn't automatically get forgiven. They had to do penance first. So where is that from?
I said that's the way I remember it, that that they were forgiven conditionally, that they would serve the Vaishnavas, and by serving the Vaishnavas they would earn their forgiveness. That's the way I remember. I'm sorry, I cannot remember where from. I'm thinking that must be the Chaitanya Bhagavat, because that's the only other place that I've really read in any detail about Mahaprabhu's pastimes.
Yes,
That's correct.
Chaitanya Bhagavat, Jagai Madai become devotees. Having received the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda, let's see, just before that, it says that seeing the wonderful transformation of his brother, a remorseful Madai begged for the mercy of the Lord. However, since he had committed the worst of all offenses, that of attacking a Vaishnav, the Lord did not even consider all his pitiful pleas for mercy. Only after Madai grasped the feet of Nityananda Prabhu, received his mercy, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu agreed to deliver Madai also. Having received the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda, both the brothers became completely transformed. They would chant 200,000 names of the Lord every day, offer everyone humble obeisances, and constantly berate themselves for their past activities. Madai in particular was very remorseful of the fact that he had caused physical harm to Nityananda Prabhu and would shed many tears for this. Finally, he approached the Lord and begged for some act of atonement. The compassionate Lord assured him that he was completely forgiven, but if he wanted to atone for his other past sins, then he could build a bathing place on the bank of the river Ganges to help people take a bath. Madai enthusiastically built this place, which still exists with the name of Madai Ghat. He would constantly be present there, humbly offering any and all services to devotees. In this way, the two brothers spent the rest of their lives singing the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. That's from Chaitanya Bhagavat.
Thank you.
Perfect. That brings everything, and that clears it all up.
Everything's there.
There is another book I
saying
can ask
also.
Bhargava, because he gave me that book. This is like 25 years ago, and we're finally actually they meet again on the river, and I think it's Nityananda Prabhu or Lord Chaitanya. Just embrace me. He said no, he didn't want to give up. Paul, he felt so bad. He felt so. Full of sin. He didn't want to give them to Chaitanya. Chaitanya forced him anyhow to embrace him, and that was the total wash. Everything was then gone. I'll find out what
So
to
this
read.
is the first session that Via has attended. We met her at the Ottawa Temple last night at the end of our Harinam. Yeah, did you have any questions about anything you heard this evening? Any thoughts, questions?
No, I've just been absorbing. I'm learning so much. I'm still like I was raised in Vaishnavism, but I wasn't fully practicing it until like recently. So I'm still kind of new to all of this, but thank you so much for everyone that did comment and did have something to share. There's so much nectar and the devotees' thoughts and everything they have to say. It's so beautiful. Like I could keep going all night. It's so good. Thank you.
All right. Nichilila, anything from you, Sikarani? Any comments?
Yes. Yes, Shikha Rani, please continue.
What?
No, I just wanted to say that I already had a lecture about Nityananda Tradasi, and it was really good to read about his pastimes.
We were just tip of the iceberg. There's many more. It's almost 10 o'clock here in our East Coast. So
Yeah.
you'll come back on Wednesday when we'll resume the Krishna book.
Daneshwar wants to say, is waving.
Daneshwar, oh yes, please, Daneshwar Prabhu. You're muted. Can't hear you.
No, I'm not muted.
Oh, but
Now you are.
your lips are moving. Your voice wasn't coming out. Nobody hear.
Okay.
Can't hear you.
Sikarani, she put a link in there to India Divine. I was just wondering what that's about. And then the other question I had was for Nihari, when he was talking about the wheel and where it landed. I think you're saying it had landed in Ekra Chakra, but it broke up for me at that time.
Yes. Yeah, you said that. The
yeah.
chariot wheel that Krishna.
Yeah, today I heard from Bhagavat Maharaj, our god brother. He was saying that when in the battle, the famous passage where Krishna picks up the wheel, when he throws the wheel, I guess it's actually the exchange of them is that Bhishma wants to wound him, and we know all this past. But so he throws the wheel, and the wheel goes across India. Of course, he's the Lord; he can throw the best ball, and he lands in where the place of Nityananda, where it takes place, and it's called now Eka Chakra, the one chakra.
Sikarani, what's that link? Is that link there? India Divine? Well, she's not here anymore.
Oh, she doesn't.
Does anybody know why she put that there?
No, I didn't hear.
I was trying to figure it out. I had to look at it.
Okay. All right. That's all the questions I have. I take my hand down. Thank you.
All glories to Lord Nityananda.
All glories to Nityananda Prabhu.
Thank you for the Kirtan in Ottawa.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Everybody rock.
Your turn.
It was like history, transcendental history, and I loved the way the story of the first civil disobedience by Lord Chaitanya was woven into it.
And the history's being repeating itself because we even had the Vaishnavas telling us we're not supposed to go out and do Harinam during a disobedience protest. So that this became a whole new that Leela. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates telling us that we're not supposed to go out and join people who are protesting against tyranny. And
What I thought is that your purpose is you were enlivening people, actually
excuse me,
enlightening.
shut up. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It's like, yeah, because they were all yelling for freedom, and so you said, well, with love is
True
useless
freedom.
without true freedom. But like that was kind of the first question that Prabhupada came to when he first met Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. He says we can't talk about preaching anywhere if we're not free ourselves, and so Bhaktisiddhanta, you know this the answer that
Yeah,
Bhaktisiddhanta
well,
gave.
in
No one
that,
is free.
the devotee who was reading that, I don't know.
Daneshwar, I can't.
Oh, that was all about freedom. Yeah,
I,
that
I,
was all about freedom, what he was reading. So that was really nice because he repeated
Yes.
over and over freedom.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But ironically, some of the leaders from Canada were saying, no, you don't have the freedom to go and do Harinam. We do not want to be affiliated with these and beer drinking truck drivers. One thing, but we want to be affiliated with the meat eating prime minister. Excuse me, someone's talking.
Now let Gaura finish, please. Let Gaura finish.
No, I want to hear from Daneshwar Prabhu. He shared with me today some points because as we have this saying that Prabhupada gave, you go in like a needle, you come out like the plow. So they've come with the needle for us, but they have a big plow that's coming with that needle. Would you like to share some of that, Daneshwar? It seems that a lot of our devotees don't understand the plow behind the needle.
Very good. Anyway, that's, I put all that into my, my address the other day. Thank you for allowing me to speak. But there's a big agenda behind this needle. The agenda is not the needle. The agenda is giving the people the excuse and the so-called reason for changing the entire way the world works. Now, the demons, they do give us a way to live. In my spiritual economics book, I trace out the political economic history of when the demons decided they wanted to move the people off of the land and into the cities for the Industrial Revolution. It took them 300 years, and they kept at it for 300 years to accomplish that. And finally, they have. So if we think that this drama is going to be over anytime soon, it ain't. And the thing that's really going to make the difference, in my humble opinion, is the devotees going out and doing mass Harinam Sankirtan, because we need the help of the Lord. And Krishna is present in his holy name, and by his presence, seemingly impossibly, everything can change, and all the demons will be scratching their heads and wondering, what happened? We had everything under control, and it's not working anymore. So we've got work to do. Let's get out there.
Baba Trini has a comment she wants to make.
I just want to say that's perfect, and that's what I thought. The chanting done by you, Gaura, and the other devotees was definitely like Lord Chaitanya's first civil disobedience, and the holy name is the only thing that can solve any problems. And you took what this rally was about and made, took the Krishna conscious points to support what they were saying, so that you were able to get there and everyone appreciated the chanting. It was just amazing, because we know that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, Prabhupada told him, no, you don't need to be free first. you know,
No, that material freedom is
that
an
no
illusion.
one's free.
No
But
one's free from
if you'd
birth
gotten
till
up there
death,
and said that to
disease.
them, how would that have helped? So I love the way you wove in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Chaitanya's
It was
pastimes.
Jiva
It
Mukta, I guess.
was Jiva
Really
Mukta.
good.
Yeah.
You know, when during the first Gulf War, when that started in 1991,
Yeah.
I took a group of devotees to the Federal Building in Los Angeles for a kirtan party. 7 or 8 of us, also about the same size as you had. Everybody was so appreciative of our being there. Everybody was very, very grateful. And many people participated in chanting, and everybody gave us smiles. The same thing, same kind of reaction that you got in the videos. And so it's nice to see the people really appreciate the devotees being there. And they don't know much what we're doing, but they understand that, you know, we're spiritual people, right? And we're trying to help in some way.
I find it to be the greatest paradox, and it's also a test of our faith when our own spiritual authorities are telling us don't go out on Harinam. So then we must become disobedient to our authorities.
No, that's not my authority.
Yeah. Those aren't my authorities.
Authority.
Did Pradumya want
And
to
then
say
there's it.
something? Pradumya's here.
Yes, I invited him to come back. He's been missing all the nectar.
Yes,
That's
we saw him there, right? Wasn't that Pradumya chanting in Ottawa?
Junior was one of the main Harinam men.
I know.
Yeah, we
That's
saw
what
you
we're
guys.
saying.
But I got the YouTube, the link from Bhagavad Maharaj.
Yeah, you didn't send it to us.
Yeah, we were, and Tridandi Maharaj sent me the link.
The devotees, are the devotees going to be out there during the week, or is it, you know, they're only able to be there? It'd be nice if they were there all the time.
Yeah.
Especially if they're poor.
You got a job where he's supporting 2 babies.
You know, we actually,
8 trailer parks and 200 acres, and they can converge on the weekend.
it would actually be nice if devotees said,
Yeah, something is good.
That's great that he can be there. On
so what we need is devotees that say it would be nice if we were there all the time.
Yes, yes.
Give us
Yeah, give us
number
support.
for the give us the phone number for the president of the Ottawa Temple, and we should all call him up. You know, every one of us, you know, every 15 minutes, and say, "Hey, come on, let's get out there and hurry up."
Yeah.
Oh, no, he told me that Lakshmi Moni and Mother Praharna and Krishna Das, all the devotees on the, you know, the head in Toronto, and this is coming with Bhakti Marg Swami Maharaj, with all due respect to all these wonderful God brothers and God sisters, they said no. What was the point, Pradyumna Prabhu, that we do not want to be affiliated with these meat-eating, beer-drinking truckers? Is that correct, Pradyumna Prabhu?
That's why I'm
Something
saying
like
we
that.
should arrest them. You know, that's why we should arrest them.
Yeah.
So with that mentality, then Prabhupada, what did Prabhupada go to Thompson Square, right in the middle of all the hippies, the most degraded people you can think of?
Yeah, isn't that what the
That's Nityananda's mercy, isn't it? I mean, go whatever, and where the most fallen are. You know what's the problem? I mean, it's just sort of, you know.
Gaura, it just sounds like the other day. Are we dealing with another ISKCON Abbas situation?
You mean the illusory ISKCON versus
That one, yeah.
Okay.
It's gone.
Sorry, Dinesh.
Prabhupada told Jamuna, did you read this letter? This is really fantastic. Where is there whatever, you know, Jamuna, you know, they left, Jamuna and Gurudas, they left the movement, and it was right in the mid-70s.
They left the temple, but they didn't
left
leave
the movement.
Yeah, they left the
Yes,
but they didn't leave.
That was
but they didn't leave. So Prabhupada said, whatever there is to, and you chant in Hare Krishna, that is ISKCON. That's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah, sorry.
And compatible, he said. And compatible. He used that.
Very important. Two are compatible and chant Hare Krishna, then they can go home, back to God. And that is ISKCON.
And he said, and you can be 200, but if you're not compatible, even though you're chanting Hare Krishna, it's not going to work. So to me, compatible means like-minded. So if
Like-minded.
we affiliate ourselves with tyrants who are telling us we must take lethal injections, then that's all automatically going to create a schism.
Yeah.
But
Your mother
Or
was, your
just
mother was
don't do
saying,
The
anything.
chanting is all
speak, then
Mona
it,
was saying, Mona was saying that they're telling us that if we leave ISKCON, we're not going to have your mercy, Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, whoever's chanting Hare Krishna is in ISKCON.
Yes.
So it's not that, you know,
Did he
it's not
say that if, oh, I'm sorry. Neshwar, go ahead. Sorry.
that if they leave, you know, if they leave ISKCON, they're not going to get Prabhupada's mercy. And Prabhupada said, if you're chanting Hare Krishna, you're in ISKCON. That's the first thing.
And there, you're two.
Then
Yeah, you're
the
two.
other part of where there's two who are in, you know, harmony.
Yeah.
compatibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Daneshwar. I remember there was a lot more to it, but I didn't want to be inaccurate.
I just don't want to say that even if you're incompatible and you're chanting Hare Krishna, it's not useless, because nothing is more powerful or more full of love or praying than the holy name. It's non-different than Krishna.
Harinam Sankirtan.
From Krishna, Harinam Sankirtan.
That's correct, but
Non-different from Krishna. So even if they're incompatible, it can't nullify the chanting. So if we were able to get the Ottawa Temple to come chant with you, and they weren't compatible with you, but they came and chanted,
That's great. They
it
would
would
rather
be,
let's unite in that front because
they
that's
gave
all.
us some prasadam at the end of the day. That was their level of compatibility. But they stated, according to their authorities, they were told not to go on Harinam with us.
Yeah.
Oh, I just,
Beautifully
I'm sorry.
summarized. So
What?
sorry. Bhavtarini ji, you have beautifully summarized actually. The Lord's name should prevail. It should be sung everywhere at any moment, whether there is compatibility or incompatibilities. So shout out for Gaura Prabhuji, Pradyumna Prabhuji, and all the devotees who took this initiative. And I went through the entire Kirtana clip, and it was so wonderful, energizing, purifying. So thanks very much.
Yes, thank you. You're
Thank
heroes.
you. But my point is that, yes, give us the phone number. We'll call them.
Oh, can
Right.
I just
Via.
want to say something.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to say, I was with Manda Prabhu, making prasad for all the devotees when they came, and I just wanted to say that we're like, me and him at least, we're fully with all the assembled devotees that came doing Sankirtan on the hill. From what I heard from some of the other devotees, the senior devotees at the ISKCON Ottawa, it was because of some kind of, like you guys were saying, like political affiliation. They didn't want us to be politically affiliated with like the freedom movement, which I don't know what that means, because this is nothing to do with politics. It goes beyond that. And it's something, it was so good to hear from like the Montreal devotees that they actually want to come back every weekend. And like, I don't know, there's like ashrams at the Ottawa Temple. So maybe if we could set something up for them and like the next day do Mangalarti and do Harinam again or something like that. But I know that like, I think it's like, I don't know if it's like just the culture of some temples when they're located in like bigger cities, but I know the Ottawa Temple is very open-minded. But like we heard from some of the other like Montreal ISKCON that you need like a Vox pass to go inside, which is crazy. And I don't know what's happening with the Toronto ISKCON, but like it's so crazy. I don't know. I just wanted to say that we're with the assembled devotees all the way. So yeah.
Jai.
Jai.
Daneshwar Prabhu. Can't hear a word you're saying. Your lips are moving. No sound.
The devotees, hello, can you
Yes.
hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
Hey.
yellow light, everybody has to be quiet because the yellow light, you don't hear me till the yellow thing goes on. Okay. The devotees in New Zealand are giving me the same information. They're trying to do the same thing. A group of them, not from the Wellington Temple, they're not only doing Harinam, but they're distributing prasadam also. And so I got this report. The Hare Krishna Temple distancing itself from the protest. Jagadish Prabhu, the temple president of Wellington, says that the religion's followers at the protest do not represent the Hare Krishna and are not members of the Wellington temple. None of them are from our temple. At our temple, we are all 100% vaccinated. It would be totally wrong for them to represent Hare Krishna as supporting the protest. Prasad said he supports the individual rights to decide whether they want to be vaccinated, but it has nothing to do with Hare Krishna. They're on their own individual basis, and they do not represent the temple or the wider religion.
Oh,
Let me just point out the total disconnect in logic in stating that you shouldn't do Harinam at these protests to not affiliate politically with this idea, because we don't affiliate politically, right? But on the other end, affiliating politically with vaccines
right.
and mandates, which are totally politicized. I don't understand how someone can have such cognitive dissonance.
Sorry, Pradyumna, for interrupting you. Jivan Mukta Prabhu who spoke, but I want you to continue, please, Pradyumna. Please continue. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm finished what I wanted to say.
No, finish your sentence. I interrupted you. Excuse me. You're pointing out the dichotomy. They're saying we should not affiliate ourselves with these beer drinking drivers, yet they're affiliating themselves with a jabbing psycho prime minister.
Yeah. So there's an actual, I said the word, but I don't remember it now. It's
Cognitive dissonance.
Cognitive dissonance. Yeah, it's a cognitive dissonance. You're actually totally not making sense. You're saying we're not 100% with these. Anyways, it seems everybody has a lot of.
Can I say something?
I hope Jivan Mukta will say something. I just invited him to come.
Yeah, I know can I say something first, Jivan Mukta? At these type of protests and rallies, Christian groups come and pray and distribute food, and they're not considered affiliated with the groups. So it's a misconception to say that if we go and chant and distribute books and food, that we're affiliated with the groups.
Not only that, Babatini, but they're pumping out the Bible, so you can't believe.
So where are the Bhagavad Gitas? Let's ask for all our brothers and sisters around the planet. We gotta pump it up. Knowledge has to be given
It's like
to give true happiness. Everybody's looking for happiness.
We're keeping our Bhagavad Gita stuck in the boxes back at the Ottawa Temple, and the Christians are pumping out the Bible. Duh.
All right, let's don't lament and criticize. Let's do something.
Jivan Mukta.
The arrangements have already been made. We've got someone coming next time with a table and books. I've got all the books. It's already been organized. I mean, it was just our first time there. So
yeah,
it was, we just kind of scoped things. It was very, very successful. I mean, Trudeau, this communist, has invoked the Emergency Act, which means all of our rights are suspended at this moment in time in Canada.
So that's martial law, they call it here.
It's martial law right now in Canada. So if we go there this weekend or tomorrow, they could arrest you. They can detain you with no reason. They could steal your money in your bank account. They could do anything at this point, anything. They could torture you. And there is no repercussions. Every law is suspended at this point. That's where we're at right now.
Heavy.
That's where we're at right now.
That's what the temple authorities are afraid of, right, Jivan Mukta?
Don't even talk. Prabhu, you know my feelings about this talk about our leadership. It is a waste of time. And it's like do you like jumping into a cesspool constantly? What is it with you? Just forget, how many times a day do you have to talk about, the GBC this and this? How many, let's just do what we're going to do and let's discuss it with devotees. But to go over it again and again and again, it's so frustrating. And Prabhu, I'm telling this to you publicly as well, because it's just I'm so frustrated. I don't want to hear about GBC this or that anymore. We know we're the Hare Krishna movement. Prabhupada calls us the Hare Krishna movement. He hardly ever refers to ISKCON in the books.
Yeah.
Hardly ever. Prabhupada always refers to the Hare Krishna movement. And let's just do what we're going to do. Let's discuss positive, proactive things. I do not want to dwell on what Krishna Das said. I don't want to dwell on what Bhakti Marg Swami did or didn't do. I don't care. Do you understand? I've been living independently for 40 years. I don't need anybody. I've got Prabhupada's books and I've got my japa beads.
Yes, I'm with you, Prabhu. Absolutely, 100%.
Getting blessings of
Totally with you.
Ishwar Prabhu is giving.
All the sound disappeared.
It's just like here, for example, now we are now in a state of martial law in Canada. What does talking about the GBC's failings have anything to do with our current circumstances here in Canada now?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. And ultimately, devotional service is not conditional upon anything. That's true. But the suffering humanity, the fact that they could torture devotees as much as they torture non-devotees, it's not like, they're somehow going to, these demons are somehow going to sympathize with devotees. If they know what we're about, we want to crush the entire Western civilization. Bhaktisiddhanta's order is that. That's what we want to do. So you think that they're going to spare the Vaishnavas?
Prabhupada said if they knew what I was up to, they would have killed me.
Yeah, and don't think that they haven't infiltrated or tried to infiltrate or our movements already. Don't think that has.
Can't hear you, Dineshwar.
Oh, he's too loud, you're too low.
Yeah, Gaura is always extremely loud on these.
Anyway, I apologize. It's just very, very frustrating, Prabhus, there's no point. I hope you understand, there's no point in talking about the failings of the GBC or ISKCON. It's just a waste of time. It's negative. Yeah. Nothing's going to change. Let's move on.
And today, in such a special day, how do we please? How will Nityananda Prabhu will be pleased?
Yes. Yes.
By Harinam.
You should chant
and
before we
compassion.
Yeah, yesterday, exactly. Narahari Prabhuji, yesterday I read the same quote. It was referring to you can only call yourself Nityananda Vamsa when you are preaching bravely.
Yes, yes.
I've already been through a situation where when I was first starting my businesses here, I moved to a small town, and the local officials there were actively, unfortunately, after I purchased it, I didn't realize how racist they were. And I couldn't believe that they were racist with me because I was white skinned like them, but I had an Italian last name. And these guys were talk about rednecks. I mean, they thought I was like mafia or something. And they wanted to totally crush me financially. And they got pretty close to doing it. But they put me through hell and back to the point where ultimately I had to just sell and move out. And, I could have just accepted that and forever lived like a victim and say, oh, look at what they did to me. Oh, I tried my best, but they did this and they did that. And then I would have just wallowed in my self-pity and not accomplished anything. But you just put it behind you. I know what they did. I know it was wrong. Nothing I can do. Pick up your stuff, move somewhere else where it's more fertile, and get going again.
Kija.
Can we chant before we end the program?
You want to lead a kirtan? Go ahead.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine
I'll be blurred.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nevesesha Sunyavadi Paschacha Deshatarine Namaste Saraswati Deve
Gauravani
Gauravani
Pracharine
Pracharine Nevesesha Sunyavadi
Sunyavadi
Paschacha Deshatarine
Deshatarine
Vaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai 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 Gaur Hari Bol Jaya Prabhupada
Haribol.
Jai Prabhupada. Haribol.
Jai.
Like your t-shirt.
Yeah,
Awesome
Gaura's
t-shirt.
Yeah. Can't hear you.
Gaura, you're muted.
You're muted, Gaura.
My audio, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much, everyone, for coming together to glorify Lord Nityananda. And I just want to express my gratitude to Jivan Mukta Prabhu and Pradyumna Prabhu, who I have as Sankirtan partners in service to Lord Nityananda, come hell or high water.
I'm sure you all got mercy yesterday.
It was ecstatic. Actually, Gaura's chanting was like angelic.
It was.
It was just beautiful. He was on the stage, and I thought, wow, couldn't have been a better person to lead the kirtan. And I
That's
couldn't
what I
believe
thought.
it was so cold. It was so cold,
It
and
looked miserable.
he wasn't wearing a toque.
I know.
Well, he took his.
He took it off. He
We
took
saw.
his toque
We saw
off.
you. Yeah.
I tell
That
you,
looks so cold. Oh my God.
it was so cold I could hardly enunciate the words. It was like my mouth was like I couldn't make, I could hardly enunciate properly. And here's Gaura without a toque on.
It's amazing.
He looked up very forcefully, and when he was talking about the tyrants, he was pointing at the parliament buildings.
Actually, you know what? I thought that, the heavier they get now with martial law, I want to go back to Ottawa tomorrow.
Yeah.
I want to, we should go back tomorrow.
Wow.
Well, first you should have Lord Nrsingadev go to
It will appear to the Prime Minister.
I'm with you, Jivan Mukta. We'll get locked up together.
Well,
like Prabhupada Sharma Sundar, Krishna was born in a jail, and no problem. You can preach in the jail too.
yeah. Well, you know what? As devotees as well, and Prahlad Maharaj is the most. So many, not just Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj is Haridas Thakur. There's Sanatan Goswami walking on that hot sand, burning his feet. Like devotees are like fearless. They're fearless, and we need to really show and develop that fearlessness. And in something like this, it's not just political, because it has to do with the freedom, our freedom to develop Krishna consciousness, and the freedom,
congregation chanting.
yes, and the freedom to develop love of God. It's the freedom for these poor souls to also live peacefully, so they could practice Krishna consciousness. And we have an obligation to, at the very least, support them and encourage them, because it's the right thing. It's like fanning a little.
So many are saying this is a war between good and evil, and they recognize that. And so, yes, and that's why we have to be there, because it is.
I'll tell you a little story. It's not to blow my own horn, but devotees in Argentina, and I find out later on that it was actually the governments of Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, Chile, Paraguay. They all signed a treaty with the Vatican, where the official religion would be Catholics. Everybody else got persecuted. So our temple got machine gun, and they wanted to kill us, actually, because the machine gun, and we had an old house with the metal blinders, and the machine gun first, and then they threw gas, tear gas, and then machine gun again, in order for us to get up and move. They knew where we were. And the bodies crawled to the back of the building, and they weren't hit. At that time, I lived around the corner. I just got married, so I lived just like less than a half a block away. I got there in the morning. I just they told me that happened. But I tell you, the bodies, we didn't stop. We kept going out, and everybody was. I mean, when you do the right thing, and Lord Nityananda will be behind us. Will be behind us, guaranteed.
And even if it means even if it means that we have to give up our bodies, what better way? Like I was joking with Gaura Prabhu. I said, Prabhu, if we go out on Harinam and there's some crazy guy like sniper on a building, and he like shoots us and kills us, I said, what a glorious way to die.
Chanting the holy name.
What a
spreading it around.
Dineshwar, can't hear you. Dineshwar, can't hear you. Go ahead.
I've had a lot of association with the Russian devotees. And I've heard so many stories about how when they were persecuted, the things that they went through and how they were protected. Of course, many of them even went to prison.
Some died.
But I don't know if you've read the book Salted Bread. The Salted Bread book is just a wonderful book. It'll make you cry, but it gives you some idea of the determination of those devotees to serve the Lord. And it's very, very inspiring. So, we will have the protection of the Lord. There's one, I don't know if it's a lecture or letter I saw from Prabhupada. Somebody posted the other day about Prabhupada saying, don't worry, this opposition means that we are being successful. So don't worry about the opposition. You go on, Krishna will protect you.
It's a badge of honor.
Yeah, they took me. I registered ISKCON in Argentina, and they took me to the political prisoners jail, which is 5 floors underground.
Wow. Why? Because you read.
Because he registered the society.
So I was targeted.
Just because you because you were the one that registered it.
Yeah, they wanted to know what we were doing, what we're about, and besides that, the Catholic Church was behind. All these generals are all Italian, Spanish, French, very they follow Catholic. They send one son to the military, the other son is a priest. That was the tradition. And so anyhow, they threatened me, but I tell you, any other circumstance I would have been scared, but Prabhupada made me fearless. The things that came out of my mouth, I was just surprised myself. And finally, about 3 or 4 days later, after interrogation, a senator came to see me. And I spoke to him. I said, you have trouble with the youth. Give us the youth. Help us. Just like what Prabhupada said to, the social workers in Australia. Give us your support. There'll be peace in society. Nityananda's formulas will bring peace, prosperity, love, happiness. That's what everybody is pursuing.
Yeah, but these demons don't want that. That's exactly what they don't want.
Yeah, we know that. We know. But we just got to keep doing our thing. It's like you said, whether we have to die for it, well, we're all going to die sooner or later.
The other thing, too, to realize is that there's higher, beings that are seeing what's going on.
Yes.
The demigods, aside from Krishna, of course, the demigods and other, great souls, Suric, divine type beings are seeing what's going on. So we have to have faith that just like that little sparrow, it seemed impossible, but Garuda came and helped. And so we just have to, do, our best. That's all. Just give it our best shot.
V is making the point here that the population is under the influence of mass formation psychosis.
I read the whole paper on that.
It's like literally, it's like a spell. Like especially you see it in like Montreal or Toronto, like the bigger cities. Ottawa's turning into kind of like a Toronto, but it's still not there yet. And there's so much brainwashing, and it's like people, just the amount of fear they're living in. It's like we can let us like judge them harder, or we can just love them like Lord Chaitanya, like just give them that much more love because they need it. And when they see like devotees being brave and like standing up for what they believe in, what they know is right, it's inspiring. And it's like the Maharishi effect, like like when all the rishis were meditating together and all the violence goes down and everything, all of a sudden there's so much more peace. It's like that with the devotees when they go out and do Harinam. It's the energy, it's like in the ether.
Yeah, actually, I was talking with my brother today, and we were talking just even about, the condition of these leaders in society, like the way they lie. And the interesting thing is that we know that that's the fourth leg of religion is truth. Mm-hmm. The way they're mangling that, the way they lie, just so bold-faced. It's almost frightening. It's almost frightening to see like the extent of how they would misrepresent the truth. We had, when we were there on Saturday, there had to be like 30,000 people in this one area, so packed that the sidewalks, we couldn't actually do Harinam on the sidewalks. It was so busy. So the CBC, in order to, trying to represent it's the state television station, they were doing a newscast. They went to an area which was fenced off and was abandoned with no people there. So when they did their broadcast, it seemed as if no one was at the protest.
Barren.
Meanwhile, it was packed.
And how are they going to justify? How's he going to justify martial law if there's nobody there?
They
Right.
don't need justification.
No, but he's right. The
They
logic.
don't
right.
need-
If there is no one there,
Can I tell a really quick pastime with the Chankazi pastime? When I
Sure.
I joined in Hawaii, then I had to move to the Atlanta Temple, my hometown, and my cousin was the mayor. And all the devotees, every time they went out to chant or distribute books, they were rounded up and thrown in jail. Of course, we didn't have real book distribution then. It was just passing out magazines in front of the Harinam party. So Balavanta was the president. He and I went to my grandmother, and she called the mayor, and she gave me a real silver plate, and we put Mahaprashadam on it, and we took the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and we told him the story from the teachings of Lord Chaitanya about the Chankazi and the civil disobedience. And he was so inspired. He made an ordinance just to follow the example of the Chankazi, that the devotees could chant, dance, distribute books. They could even stand on their head and do anything they wanted to do within the city limits of Atlanta.
Awesome.
So, yeah. And then
great.
he actually read the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita, because afterwards he said, actually, we're not blood relatives like Lord Chaitanya and the Chankazi. It was through marriage. So he actually read the whole book.
This was the mayor?
Yes.
The mayor of Atlanta. Yeah.
Wow.
His name
By
was
the way-
Sam Massell.
Sam Assel.
By the way, there was just an ecstatic Sankirtan story from this weekend. I don't know whether you told it, Gaura, or not, Prabhu, but did you tell the story of the Sikh lady?
No.
Okay, so what happened was the devotees were on Harinam and they were chanting, and then there was like a Sikh man who came and took a video, and he was filming the devotees, and then I saw it posted. My daughter forwarded it to me because she saw it on Instagram, and it was the devotees chanting, and the caption underneath it was that he told a story behind it. He said last night, which was a Friday, he says yesterday, my wife was thinking of Lord Krishna and was dreaming of Lord Krishna. And today we came to Ottawa, to Parliament Hill, and this is what we saw. And he posted the devotees chanting. He said that when his wife saw the devotees chanting after the previous day, having thought about Lord Krishna, she just started crying uncontrollably in front of the kirtan. She was so moved. She was so moved by the mercy of Lord Krishna that the fact that she thought of him, and the very next day he sent her to his devotees.
Sure.
Wonderful. We had one lady come up to us as soon as we arrived. She said,
What a story. That's wonderful.
are you Hare Krishna? Are you with ISKCON? And we said yes, and she said, "Oh," she said, "I've been to Vrindavan. My husband died, and I went there. I've got a girlfriend's been living there. Her name is Ganga for 27 years, and I love your Krishna Balaram temple. I just sat there and I healed in the kirtan. I'm so happy to see you're here." I mean, we had all these devotees of different types coming because the devotees were there. They're looking for shelter. They're looking for camaraderie. They're looking for community.
Yeah, that's what Prabhupada's last wishes were, weren't they? That we should all unite. Gaudiya
Yes.
Math, whatever, whoever you are. There's so much work to do. There's so much misery in the world.
Yeah.
And Dvijaban, you're right. Jiva Mukta Prabhu, you're right. I mean, we had Durga. I mean, there are superintendents that, Durga would punish. She has 10 arms in 10 directions. She can chastise the miscreants and the demons. We just have to keep our sights, on pleasing Nityananda Prabhu, pleasing Prabhupada.
When Pradyumna Prabhu and I'm sorry for cutting you off. This time it's my turn.
No, that was
He
it.
was done.
I wanted to say when Pradyumna Prabhu and I did an interview with Raj Krishna Prabhu in from Bulgaria. What is it? About a week ago, Pradyumna?
Yeah.
Yeah. Raj Krishna said, as a result of standing his ground and not agreeing with the demoniac genocide agenda that everyone's got to get vaxxed, he started cultivating all these anti-vax people that really identified with him, and he developed another temple, and he's got a whole big following of people who are admiring. Oh, Hare Krishnas, they're our real leaders. They don't believe in all of this BS. Anything else from that, Pradyumna, you remember?
Yeah, I actually have a question that's kind of unrelated, if that's okay, since there's so many great souls in this call right now.
Don't look in my direction.
I'm trying to solve a Prabhupada said mystery, and if one of you can help me, that would be awesome. So I'm trying to find if anyone has a reference for Prabhupada said that the third generation, second or third generation of devotees will actually start to be the real deal. In other words, these disciples we have now are not this advanced, but as it goes on, we'll actually establish the devotees will become more and more advanced. So
I could ask Siddhanta that.
Is there actually a reference for that?
Yeah, but
you should ask Siddhanta, but I was told, and I had children, that the third generation would be able to start fire by mantra.
Yes, so this is Prabhupada said, but is there a reference to
But
that?
what
Do you
I'm
know
saying
where
is
that's
you
from?
need to ask Siddhanta, because I
to
didn't
confirm it,
personally hear it.
by witnesses. But it
'Cause
was
I
very
actually
well
typed
known
it
in
with
Los
my-
Angeles. Yeah.
Okay.
There's one
'Cause I
story.
was
The devotee asked Prabhupada, will our children be pure devotees? And Prabhupada said, will they be born pure devotees? And Prabhupada said no. And the devotee asked why. He said, because they have you for association. But he said,
wow.
Children of your children, they can be those great personalities.
Who said this?
To whom do you
One
remember?
story I remember hearing, but I can't corroborate
I'm
it.
actually
That's the
looking
same
it up.
thing. He wants
That's the same thing. We
verified.
yeah.
So Siddhanta's
Siddhanta could help us, perhaps.
All right,
Siddhanta's the key.
Because I'm looking it up on Vanipedia, which is
yes.
all the conversations, and I don't know what words to look for. So, anyways, thank you for trying.
But now Siddhanta would be able to tell you.
Okay.
I'll contact Siddhanta for you.
Cool.
Well,
So-
one thing is that, like Narayan Maharaj said one time in the morning walk, he was saying, the birth of an acharya in the West will be very rare, almost impossible. And I looked at him and said, yeah, this is karma kshetra.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a very good
This
one.
is karma kshetra.
I
The West
heard
is
that.
heaven.
Yeah.
There was a Swami. He's an English Swami. Loves to be hanging around. I can't remember his name now. But, he said that he's from the UK, which stands for Ugra Karma, And then, you know, and then these English people, they went to the USA and they found the USA, which stands for Unlimited Sinful Activity.
Oh my God.
So Ugra Karma
That,
becoming
I mean,
unlimited
it's funny
sinful
and it's
activity.
sad, isn't it? But yeah, but
Yeah, it's
you
true.
know,
Accurate. It's very accurate.
but Prabhupada did look in the belly of the devil. He just, he started it all. And
Yeah.
in the most difficult,
Well,
places, I
that's
would say, why go there?
yeah,
Wasn't Haridas Thakur was still in
yeah,
Nityananda?
yeah.
Why do you want to go there to them? My God, you're gonna get in trouble. They can't kill us.
But that was one of the ways it was being explained today was that Lord Chaitanya would only preach to like
Brahminical class,
Brahminical
intellectuals,
class,
the Hari class.
intellectuals, and so the real preaching program started with Nityananda and
Nityananda.
Haridas Thakur because they went to the fallen people. Plus, one of the reasons Nityananda behaved like an avadut was he would go to the villages and the people were very simple and they would offer him colorful cloth and silk and jewels and he would accept and wear everything. And it was Srila Prabhupada did the same with us.
Yeah, Bhagavad Maharaj made the parallel that Prabhupada would accept, from devotees and from people, all kinds of gifts.
So that they could do some service.
So, but he had the story of in London, the devotees, Guru Das, I think, and devotees they went and found the finest silk possible, and they dyed it, and they made kurta, gold buttons, and like that, and then Prabhupada came downstairs and he did a twirl, showing the devotees, and they all went like, "Wow, Jai Prabhupada." He said, "Yes." What was it? First dress, then address, because he was going to do an address,
in some sort of big hall.
Yeah. So, he's Shaktavesh avatar of whom? Who can preach that Prabhupada if he's not empowered by his spiritual master, by Nityananda Prabhu?
Yeah.
We can't do this if we're not empowered. We cannot go out and chant like that. If it wasn't, if we're not empowered by Prabhupada, our spiritual master, or our grandsire spiritual master, and Nityananda Prabhu, then.
Yeah, I find Prabhupada is such an incredible personality, and he's so empowered that even today, when people see his picture, they are immediately affected. Yeah. Because it exudes that potency. It is exuded right from his photographs. You just have to see a photo of him.
Yeah.
Even now.
Even now. I was driving Prabhupada's Murti to the Rath Yatra in San Francisco, and I get in and there's a guard, a black, or Afro-American, and he gets close to me and says, "Who's the brother? Who's the brother?" Meaning that he's so Prabhupada, he's that dark skin, and he said, "Who's the brother?" It's just like that powerful to him. That he wasn't a statue anymore.
Right.
Some people think, see it that way, but yeah.
I actually remember.
And we met this Russian late actually through Nemi Maharaj, a god brother of ours. He preached extensively in Russia, and he met this lady that for 20 years she had zero association. There was no devotees around, but she had Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is. She was able to, so then she read and read and read and chanted and begged and prayed, and then the devotees showed up 20 years later.
Wow. We've made a lot of friends over the decades, and when we go out on Harinam, regardless of whether it's a rock and roll concert, a political protest,
concert. A rock and roll consort.
Sorry, you're bad.
We're happy to see us.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Well, tell us, Gaura. So you were gonna tell us, please. Sorry.
I don't know. I don't know what I was going to tell.
You were saying
You
they're
said whether
happy
we
when you,
made so many friends all over in
yeah,
all
they're
different
happy to see
spheres.
us, he
I
said.
mean, Jivan Mukta and I and Pradyumna, what we experienced was like a gigantic street party. That's what it was.
Right.
Hot from the oven. They had built ovens on the street there in front of the Parliament building, making hot pizza, handing it out to everybody.
No, you know,
Wow.
it was very heartening, and I feel that we need that there's nothing wrong, and I don't know whether I'm mistaken in this making this judgment, but I feel that if we start looking at these people as like untouchable malechas that we shouldn't be associated, you know, they're meat eaters and drunkards, and you know their cause is questionable, so what are we doing there? You know, we're going to get affiliated with them. I feel it's such a kanishta attitude, you know,
Yes.
It's
like
not even
it's
Kanishta, bro.
it's
That's
like,
giving an honor.
you know, it's like these are, first of all, being Lord Nityananda's appearance day, this is exactly where Lord Nityananda would go to have Harinam. And
Yes.
Sure.
secondly, these people have, you know, a spark of goodness in their heart, if not more than that, but they definitely have a spark.
Of
And
course.
you know, their concern is for their children, their family, their community. You know, they're worried. They want peace. They want freedom. And what's wrong with that? And why don't we take that and explain to them that yes, this is an honorable, objective, but remember that the ultimate freedom, and ultimately freedom is there so that we could choose to love God. Like it's perfect for us.
That's what she
It's
said.
a perfect platform for preaching. And that's what was so enlivening, is that when we went there, we realized, you know, my impression was that it was like Prabhupada was saying to us, okay, you know, certain devotees don't want this preaching opportunity. Here you go. You take the credit.
Right.
So,
Like
so
Arjuna said, you don't want to take the credit. You know,
yes, I
I
mean,
have already killed all this. Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
exactly
I'll tell you
what I
what,
was
man.
thinking.
They're going to be very happy to take credit when time comes. Oh yeah, we were there doing Harinam
yesterday,
when these things happened.
yeah.
This will happen also. And
So
you
yeah,
know,
the world is polluted with lies.
Oh, it's just
And the sound
unbelievable.
vibration, that's how it began. That's how it began. So
but also,
Goebbels, the minister of propaganda for Hitler, said, if you tell a big enough lie and keep persisting on it through the media over and over and over again, people finally, they will believe you.
I got
Yeah.
kicked for 1 month for putting that post up. They
Really?
censored. So Via, after hearing from all the devotees, Via, next time we come back to Ottawa, will you come on Harinam with us?
I would
Who,
love
me?
to.
Oh, yeah.
I usually I'm like usually with Madhula Prabhu making prasad for all the devotees, but I would love to come out. Like I know that me and him personally, we really do support the movement and everything. And I just wanted to say, like, I was just making a connection, like when you just said the Prabhu that was just talking about Hitler. I just want to say, I think it's so hypocritical how the other ISKCONs, like the Montreal ISKCON, they're now making it a vax pass for you to get into the temple. And I know like the Toronto ISKCON, they're segregating at Govinda's, like at the restaurant. And like, it's just so funny because it's supposed to be Krishna consciousness and they're like pushing unconsciously, I don't know, maybe consciously, I think unconsciously, like Hitler Nazi consciousness. And I don't think they realize, for the ones that are doing it unconsciously, how dangerous this is, because everything we do has a ripple effect in the omniverse.
Yeah.
And so like when you let that kind of contaminated consciousness and poison, like poisonous energy enter ISKCON, it's like that much worse, because these are people that should know better, that you would think would know better.
Very well said, Via. Very well said.
Yeah. Thanks.
100%. And to expand on what Jivan Mukta was saying, those are good points you made, positive points. You can even you don't even have to go there, in my opinion. Like, how can you say, oh, don't go to freedom protests because these guys are meat eaters, but then go take these jabs because they're made by meat eaters?
And
Like,
they-
do you think
make
Bill
any
Gates
sense.
is a vegetarian? Do you think Fauci's a vegetarian? Like, this is
not only that,
you
but
don't have to go that far to see
the
that,
jabs
this
themselves
makes
are
no
meat.
sense.
The
Yeah, of
jabs
course.
are meat.
Yeah, of course.
And I mean, you read this letter, Gaura, too. What Prabhupada had to say about the scientists, the biologists. I mean, pretty
Yeah.
strong words. Kick him in the face, and they know nothing. That's
And
quite
Prabhupada
what.
pegged Prabhupada also pegged the cheating propensity of these pharmaceutical companies, because I
Yeah.
believe he said at one point that they will create the disease and then they will have the cure. You know?
Yes.
So, and
Yeah.
that's exactly what's happening. Because now, for example, apparently what I've been hearing is that the what's that?
Omicron?
Yeah, it's causing another disease now. The vaccine. It's causing what's that?
All sorts of
Mutation,
things.
No, the disease that the gay people had. What was it?
It's HIV.
HIV.
Yeah, attacks the immune system.
Now
So that's
apparently they're saying that those who took the vaccine are getting HIV,
yes.
and they have, of course, a vaccine for that now.
This and the pills.
The same what the Fauci gave decades ago, because he was behind that HIV deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And their medicines for that are very expensive.
Right.
But the pills that they're selling now, the so-called COVID Pfizer pills, they're actually HIV medicine, from what I've heard. So it's a whole thing, man. It's the same people giving you the disease, giving you the cure, endless profit.
Right.
Yeah.
Suck it all up.
But I also, agree that there's no. Well, I don't know if I totally agree that there's no point and there's no reforming, but there's definitely no point in criticizing and just pointing, because the Shastra says, and it was Varaha's appearance day the other day, right? And in that pastime, there's this verse that says, the one who identifies a wrongdoer actually has the same destination as them.
Right.
So
Yes.
if you're just identifying the wrongdoer, you're just going to the same hell as them. So
Yeah, and then we creating bridges to our heart of third wild qualities. So
right.
it's like I lied to you, and Muktair said, just drop this thing, them, us, ISKCON, not ISKCON. It's time for the positive action. And
Yeah.
like he told Rameshwar was, showing Prabhupada the BBT. They had a 3-story high warehouse and bunch of books, and Prabhupada said, are they going? The students, yes, Prabhupada, most of them are gone, and what do you see, and like that, and chai, like that. But Prabhupada told him, but the best service you can do is save yourself.
Yeah.
So we need to enlighten ourselves, continue the chanting, and we need to then give it to others. The more we give, the more we're going to receive. That's it says about the fruits of Chaitanya Charitamrita, doesn't it? The storehouse of love of God is unlimited.
And the more you distribute, the more it grows, the more fruit manifests.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spiritual economics. 1 + 1 = 100.
Yeah.
When you want to go
very late, wherever you are, Prabhus, and I know must be very late.
I just wanted to say too that I was watching that video again of the Kirtan, the Harinam, and we look like, all bundled up in the cold and, wearing all these coats and hats. And it looked, we're just like a ragtag bunch of, people here chanting Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
But it was so endearing, it's so beautiful.
It was, it was amazing.
The spirit was so wonderful. It was just great,
Yeah,
And
it's a cool video. You have to look at all the comments too.
I was saying to Jivan Mukta that this is how you develop camaraderie. This is how you develop a bond amongst devotees. When you go out and you perform this yajna together and you're mutually appreciating the sacrifice that your brothers and sisters are making, you feel proud to be with them. You feel fortunate to be with them.
And you know what we were also discussing is that we went to the war memorial and there was all these veterans there, and they are so true to each other. They're so bonded because of that experience of fighting together in the war and having, comrade, like having friends die next to them. Their bond is something unbreakable. And I was thinking, this is how it is when we went on Sankirtan together and we performed these austerities together. There's a special bond that develops between the devotees who perform that service together, that yajna together, that austerity. And when we go out on Harinam, it's not really an austerity, it's ecstatic, but that same principle applies because we're together, performing this wonderful Yuga Dharma, and it generates that closeness.
It's a team sport.
We're better together.
Well, you can also hear about competition in that. So, Radha Damodar party and the whole. There's always there can also be some toxic elements to that.
Well, that's based on, of course, we all are affected by the modes of nature to different degrees. So that'll manifest as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's three things Vedically Prabhupada said that should never be given up. It's austerity, sacrifice, and charity. And those three are comprised when we go on Harinam Sankirtan.
Uh-huh.
We give the best charity possible. And
I definitely felt that.
Sacrifice.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And also, I definitely felt that. And I feel like probably everyone here has felt that in their lives. And I was telling Vedavyas in the temple that it only starts to hurt when you stop. I could literally go play mridanga, chant, and dance whole day, but when you stop and you sit on the couch, that's when you feel, wow, I'm actually busted, But you won't actually feel it before then. Well, that's what I've experienced.
Yeah, that was the program, Prabhu. When I joined, that was the program. We go out every day, distribute, prasad. First of all, the Maha Mantra, Harinam Sankirtan, that was it. And we stop every 2 blocks or so and distribute magazines and books, or the sannyas with us to speak. At the time was Hanuman. He would, explain to people briefly, PowerPoints or whatever. And people they were following us all over the place. But it's true, when we stopped, it was like, wow.
Yeah, it hurts when you stop.
At the same time, going to the temples, it was like, I understand, Gaura, that camaraderie that he felt, we had our brothers, the temples that were so vibrant. Chicago, 75, it was like happening. Los Angeles, 75. It was standing room only at Mongol Arti.
Wow.
And people were coming by the 100, they were coming 50. The week, it was just like going on and on and on. There was an ending. And I remember Vishnu Jan would sit on the lawn in front of it's an old church that was converted to the temple now, and before then it was an auditorium. And he would play the harmonium and tell stories with a little song, a little chanting, and then bring everybody in. He was like
Pied Piper.
A Piper, exactly.
There were in front of our house right now. There were about 5 people. One of them was a baby in a stroller, and they were just hanging out, and they'd been listening to our kirtan. So we did Harinam. We had some.
We had the two cows, and it's like an attraction. You know, it's this perfect preaching tool. We are in it's a neighborhood, but it's a remote neighborhood. And then we found out that it's Ag 1, zone Ag 1, so we can have animals. So we brought two cows from Nanda Kumar Prabhupada's, old servant. He's a good friend, and he got these two cows, and he couldn't really, he had no garden, he couldn't feed him. He asked for help, so we said, okay, we go pick him up. And so we had him for 3 years now.
Yeah.
So we had two empty, we emptied two lots, they're empty behind ours, and we, the pasture there. So we have now, recently a lot of people started to move from mainland to here, and so that we have more traffic going down the street. And they stop, and they we just, oh, Hare Krishna, it's great.
So anyway, the people in front of us, I'd never met them before, but they said they come to see our cows all the time, and the mother's name was Gopi, and they said that they were chanting with us, and the little boy loves to chant.
So how did she get her name Gopi?
I didn't ask her because they were in the middle of leaving. They'd been there for a while, and they were on their way home. So.
Hawaii, this is kind of an alternative kind of neighborhood. When we first started, everybody was on solar. There was like party lines for the phones. Now there's internet and all that, but still, the people, the mentality is a little more out of the box, thinking. And so I meet many of them have practiced yoga for many years, different doctrines and like that, but they're very receptive.
That's Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
Special place.
Pretty far out place. You got everything.
It's way past my bedtime.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to.
Everyone for talking so long.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to your service.
Nice to see you, Jivan.
Wednesday, Krishna willing. See you Wednesday.
Wednesday is appearance day of Narottam Das Thakur.
Oh.
At least over here. I'm not sure if it is for you guys. West Coast, anyway.
We'll
check the calendar.
Okay.
No harm in celebrating 2 days. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai, Nityananda jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari.
All glories to assembled devotees.
And stay tuned for Jivan Mukta and Tapa Punj double knockout punch on Wednesday at the Global Scam and Krishna's Plan. That'll be at 12 noon, New York City time.
Okay.
What again? Can you repeat?
The Global. We got 6 or 7. What is this? This is now the 7th video, Pradyumna?
Yes, episode 7. But we need to write this on Telegram.
Okay, yeah. So Tapa Punj Prabhu, who's been in agriculture for over 30 years, developing agricultural projects and education combined with, because he engages a lot of woofers. He's going to be speaking about Civil War. What's the title again? Do you remember, Pradyumna?
Let's put it on Telegram. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I had to download Telegram.
Yeah, we don't have it yet. We'll get it.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's just the way we, share the schedule with everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
The title is going to be about Civil War and Krishna's and I think farms from the perspective of a devotee farmer. In other words, the point he was making is that if we allow the demons to do as they're doing, they're going to strangle our food source.
Yeah. Well, allow we can't. What can we? But what we can do is the positive. That's what
Right.
Prabhupada did.
That's what he's going to talk about.
Establish the farms, and
We should
and the Harinam.
They're like way behind.
Haribol, Haribol.
Sweet dreams.
All right.
Hare Krishna.
I'll run along home and jump into bed, pay obeisances, bowing your head. Very last thing I say unto you, you dream of Krishna and Prabhupada too, and Lord Nitai.
I know the book.
Good night.
What I needed.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Via, see you on Wednesday, Via.
See you
Vicha.
Wednesday.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Bob Training and Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu Gaura. Hare